as you can see from the title, me and my boy, the Gian. Oh, first of all, before I even go any further, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Twitch, he's back. I was going to say, if you're watching this on YouTube and you are a subscriber to me, as I always say, you need to go check out the Gian right now. I'll leave a link to the video description under here. But look up the Gian on YouTube. He's a fellow Tekken nerd, fellow overthinker. Lots of data-driven videos, right? So not only does he have good opinions, but he backs them up with the numbers. So I'm a huge fan. Which is the reason why I really want to talk to our guy today, because we've had lots of thoughts. Even before this podcast, we were kind of talking like, oh, we should maybe do a podcast. Let's have maybe a 5-minute discussion to compare notes. And then 4 hours later, we were like, okay, fuck, we should have probably
we did an episode between ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm rambling. Gian, introduce yourself to the people on my channel who have not met you, man. Who are you?
Hello everyone. I'm the Gian, for who does know, and I've been starting a YouTube channel not long ago, like around 5 months ago and everything. And Chad has always been probably one of the kindest, if not the kindest with me. He's always been since the beginning following my stuff and everything. And I'm a Brian player, but one of the nice ones.
Yeah, true. That's the thing. Yeah, I don't think you're a real Brian player because like you have no skills.
Well, I used to be a low player, with Wi-Fi.
Okay, now it makes sense. Yeah, no. Again, sorry to do this to you again, Gian, but like the voice is a little bit low now.
Okay, so because
don't worry, man.
It's okay. Let me just.
We'll edit this out. We'll fix it in post. Don't worry about it.
The game should be at this peak. I put the microphone very close to me.
Mm-hmm. How you sounding? Give me an A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And now I lost you. Oh, Mamma Mia streaming.
Jeez. Oh man, no worries. You'll figure it out. But in the meantime, as you can see from the title of the video, we want to discuss what's coming up for season 2. I don't want to put words in my man the Jan's mouth, but I think season 1 is clear to be. There's a lot of interesting new mechanics, lots of interesting stuff, lots of stuff to be excited about. But there's even more things, I think, to be frustrated about. And I think most of us are hoping that in season 2, we're going to get more of the good and less of the bad. So we just wanted to discuss, I guess, a brief summary of how we feel about Tekken in its current state. But more importantly, the things that we think need to be, or ideally will be in the next season of Tekken. Because I do think that this has the potential to be the best Tekken ever. It's not there yet, but it has the potential to be, right? So we're just going to have a discussion as to what we think needs to be there. And by the way, if you're in the chat, if you're watching this on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to contribute. I'll read out your comments, the good ones and the hilariously bad ones. So yeah, feel free to get in. So not to put you on the spot, but gun to your head. First thing, you're like, okay, look, the Gian, we're not going to take all your suggestions, but we'll take one, the most important one. There was one thing you think you would add to Tekken 8 to be like, all right, let's sort this out, or remove maybe for season 2. What is the thing, gun to your head, that comes to your mind? Number 1.
So, probably the thing that would bring the most improvement to the game, to just general balance in a gameplay experience, it would be just changing the accessibility to hit. For me, that would be just a massive problem solver in the first case. Mm-hmm. Like I think I told you already, it's instead of having hit available every single round,
right,
put it like a 2 usage thing. You can use it twice. Yeah, you have 2 usage of it throughout the whole game, and it becomes a limited resource. Mm-hmm. So that is as well, you start to stack some mind game as well. Mm-hmm. So let's say it's me and you playing. Mm-hmm. And I launch you, I get dual combo, and I pop it to finish you and everything. Mm-hmm. Potentially there are still 4 rounds to be played, but I have only 1 bar of hit left, like 1 charge of hit left for the next. And if I use it and I get 2-0 against 2 rounds, I don't have hit anymore.
Yes.
But you still have 2 bars, so your combo potential is even stronger. Mm-hmm. So that is, it's an hypothesis, but basically limiting the fact of how hit works and how strong it is, it would already just tune down all the power creep that there is in the game. Because everyone speaks about balancing, as balancing is the main problem of the game. And at the same time, you have people saying that this is the most balanced Tekken ever. And it's arguably, you could say that they're both right. Because every character is very valuable. Every character is usable and is very strong. But the characters are so balanced just because apart the top 3, all the others are like the top the first 25 characters in the game, they're just so strong, and the last 10 are no weak either. So
yeah,
you can say there's a balanced game because, well, defense is weaker, aggression is good, and if you have, everything is very strong aggressively and offensively. So yeah, the game is balanced just because everyone is too strong.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
And
I'm going.
Just changing this accessibility to hit, making it more restricted, it would bring situations being like character being not overpowered in every round, still be very strong because character even without hit are super strong, and it would already tone down a lot the excessive power in the game, which in my opinion is the biggest problem in the game.
No, that makes sense. People are already commenting, especially on Twitch, with some great suggestions. I'm writing them down. I'll bring them up in a bit. But okay, I guess I want to explore that thought a bit more. So you said two things that stuck out to me there. You said reduce access to heat, which sort of implies that you feel that heat in its current state, the way it works is fine. We just get to access it too much. So it sounds like what you're saying is that I would keep heat mostly the way it is, just reduce access to it. So is that your go-to?
Well, the point is, I was thinking about that, and if you think about limiting a strong resource and giving less access to it, it makes sense to have that resource to be very strong.
Yes.
At the end of the day. So still, it needs some changes. I was listening, I don't remember who the other day, that said the fact that the hit dashes on block are generally +5 does not make much sense, because you have like moves that are usually -14 that become +5, as well as moves that are usually QCF4 from Dragonov. That move is +7 or +8. It becomes +5 for some reason. Even because that move is even better than it's better on its own than when you hit dash. But that's the kind of point. It's like, yes, I understand it's general. I think it was FedEx, I remember. I mean, I understand generalizing to make it simple. Like if somebody dashes in your face, you have +5. But this kind of generalizing, it makes some of the perks that you get from a hit dash too much. Like Long Bomb being the most famous instance from -14 to +5. But it's just because that's the most famous move I'm quoting Long Bomb. So yes, obviously they need you need to do this kind of small tweaks and everything, but if you ask me what is the one thing you will change, is the accessibility to it. Then how to tune down it and everything and the moves, that goes back to be just a balancing thing, like how would you change the balancing of the characters and everything, which there is so much to talk about.
I mean, that's a bigger,
we're gonna definitely get there
for sure. That's a way bigger question for sure. But I guess okay, so I guess my second question then is why 2, right? Because you said not 1. 1 is too little, not crazy enough, I guess. Like you'd rather have it 2. Because in my mind, if you're going to take this tack, if you're going to take this strategy to address the problem, why would you not just make it, okay, you get 1 per round? Like, why is that not better? 1 per game. Like, and in fact, if anything, you could make it almost like the Heihachi thing of like, hey, your character becomes a boss character for this round. Like you're almost certainly gonna lose this round. Then in a weird way, you can almost make it as gonzo as you want. Like it makes it easier to balance the whole game. You can make it as crazy as you want.
I've honestly, if you even make it more powerful, I think it would just become kind of boring, because you will lose the fight. Like, let's say now when someone pops it against you, yes, they're strong. Some of the characters, they're too strong, yes, but you see where you kind of know you have way around it. Yes, you hold back and everything, but you don't see them as unbeatable as Heihachi when he goes in God mode. It's like Heihachi when he goes in God mode, I feel just helpless, completely hopeless. Like the only advantage of Heihachi when he goes in God mode is that usually the player who is playing against you goes in God mode, just stops playing. He's just waiting for a 12 frame to obliterate you, and that's it. And then they change so much of the game plan that if you win, it's because they make a mistake. But in my opinion, it was just because if you put it like only once per game, you basically almost lose the hit mechanic. It becomes way less core than what they wanted to be as a game design. And when I created this thought, it was more about any way to keep it realistic. Because at the end of the day, game designers, they came out with this game like this, more aggressive and everything. So they still want to keep the kind of footprint with it. Sorry.
But here's my counterpoint. I'm glad you brought up that game design thing, because I think a lot of the time people talk about the game without realizing that the fact that there are humans who have to try and balance this thing, which is very difficult, right? It's very, very difficult to balance a fighting game. And I have a lot of sympathy for the Tekken devs, right? But the thing is, it seems that heat is Tekken is hard to balance regardless, right? Adding heat is messed up. And so, for example, you have this huge disparity between, let's say, Lee's power increase in heat, which is trivial, right? Versus, say, who's like the most, like Xiaoyu, probably the biggest, like night and day, right? The most crazy.
Yeah.
And like, the thing is, you can do that, right? How do you balance that? Because maybe you can say that, okay, well, this character is less powerful in heat, but this outside of heat, the first character is more powerful, right? Potentially. So a part of me just thinks from a game design perspective, it might be easier for everyone and easy to accept when it goes wrong, because it will go wrong, if heat was only accessible in one round.
Okay.
Because even if heat was broken, let's say it was like fucking the Xiaoyu, Kazuya, Kuma, level of heat, right? You only have to deal with that with one round, and like people will still complain, people will still bitch. But at the same time, it's like if I'm superior to you in Tekken, in real Tekken, I will still out. Whereas a lot of the time, it can feel as though, man, I feel like, and it's me scrubby. I'm like, I don't really feel like I lost to this player because they're better than me. I feel like they activated heat, they made me guess, I lost, I died, right?
Yeah.
And that's. I think that's the feeling that's really frustrating. And having to do that once per round or once per game, I think is a lot easier to handle than having to do that every single round, which is what currently is.
Yeah, every single round becomes too much. I honestly think it might work as well in one round. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna argue here that it would not work, especially if you make it even like if you leave it so strong as it is for certain character. Because, like, if you have Li Shaolan with just one hit bar for the whole game, it's not that it's going to change that much the character when he goes in it. Especially if you are a Li specialist, what he gives you,
it's nothing.
He gives an hit dash.
Yeah, exactly. But then that brings up the question, though. Should hi everyone in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. I guess here's the question: should everyone's heat be equally strong? Do you feel? Or can we afford to have a game where actually this character is stronger outside of heat, therefore their heat is kind of weak? Because as someone who's been playing Leo for a long time, I feel like Leo's heat is kind of trash. But at the same time, I kind of feel like Leo probably should have a trash heat, because Leo is so versatile and has so many different tools. Giving Leo like an even more crazy tool set, I think might be a little bit busted, especially when you consider that the fact that they have an install that they can access even without going into heat. So maybe for Leo, you make it so that the install mechanic is pretty good, but then they don't get anything additional in heat other than constant access to that install. Do you see what I'm saying? Like from a design perspective?
I completely understand. So I think in that case, it's the kind of conversation that in my mind ends up to go into kind of character archetypes. And something a bit more like on the Tekken 8 archetypes, where you can have a character that his heat doesn't give you as much, but is generally a bit stronger. But that kind of archetype, you can have it only if you still have access to it in every round, obviously. Because if you have a character that doesn't have a very strong hit, but is generally a very strong character, for instance, you cannot have hit that goes just once per game, because then your character is just too strong in general. And vice versa. It's like, I don't think, so if they want to keep hit every round, they want to keep it as the mechanic that it is. Every round you can pop it and you can go into this over oppressive character you can be. Then I see characters that can have different characteristic needs.
Yes.
And someone being stronger, someone being different. It's a tricky question.
It's tricky, yeah. Because if we go with what we were saying, reducing it to 2 rounds, 2 times per turn, right? Then the value of having strong heat is weaker, right? Because if it's so, it makes balancing a nightmare, right? Balancing is going to be a nightmare regardless of what they do. You have to pick your poison, so to speak. I just want to bring up something. I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. So Luis Fernandez, great name, actually from YouTube, actually left a pretty good comment, and he was basically saying that like a lot of what we're discussing right now is about the number of interactions between 2 players, right? Because I think heat often reduces the number of interactions, because oftentimes you just have to think about when you block Kuma's activated. You just have to sit there. You just have to sit there. Electric. fucking hate smashing. Like you just have to sit there, right? And it's very frustrating. And there's a lot of characters who have this ability too. I was having this one, you know me. I have to complain about Kazuya once per session. But like just before I even came on, I had this moment where I was sidewalking left, which is what you're supposed to do, right? And I got hit by the 442. Fine, whatever. Don't know why it has a tracking, but it is what it is, right? So I'm minus 16. I'm like, okay, cool. It's not the end of the world. So I'm like, all right, I'm minus 17 against Kazuya. Not the best. I'm just gonna stand block. He does a crouch dash 1+2. Bang! I block it. I'm still minus 5. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. So minus 5. What are you gonna do, right? I decide to keep stand blocking. He does what is that move where he like punches the ground and then like this like devil spike comes out?
Yeah, that's
like
what
heat
is
engaging move.
yeah, what is that?
I forget the input, but you know what I'm talking about. Like punch the ground, goes. It's minus 15 on block normally, but in heat, it's
actually even more minus. It's dead when you block it. But
it's great. You can launch it if you have a long range launcher. But the thing is, so yeah, he does it, but obviously he heat bursts it. So again, I'm still minus 5. I'm like fuck.
Yeah.
And then another guess, he hell sweeps me, but my back, because I've blocked all these moves, has now pushed me right to the wall. The hell sweep wall splats me. I'm gonna eat the whole combo. He's enraged, by the way. So then I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay, I lost, but I don't really feel like I lost a Tekken. Now I mean, I don't really. It's down back 1-2. I don't feel like I lost a Tekken in that. And again, I'm not shitting on Kazuya players because I'm sure they have to deal with that a lot with other characters too. Like you block a thing, and then you have to hold it. Everyone, yeah, a lot of characters.
Almost everyone can do it. Like I don't have, like even if you talk about Brian, doesn't have a real 50-50 with a low and a mid, but when he's in it, you are on the wall. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have crazy reflexes, you can react to the guard break. But
totally.
Honestly, that's I'm the first one saying that stuff is busted on runs. I'm the first one saying there's so many rounds.
So it's I think, and so like Louis was saying, like I think situations like that, I almost want them to be gone. Like I think plus frames are very dangerous in this game. And I think they have been a little bit too generous with plus frames across the board, and putting you in minus 6 situations, minus 5 situations where like you just have to hold it. Minus 4 is one thing because you can sidestep meaningfully, right? But minus 5 is a specific number. It's a deliberate number, right?
It's not random, you know.
Yeah, it's random. They chose that number
because perhaps minus 4 is way different. Minus 4 is like okay, now minus 4 is the Tekken 50-50, the old Tekken 50-50. It's like okay, I'm minus, so I cannot challenge him unless I really want to go risky with a jab or something. Sure. But you could even think to challenge it. But you can block high, you can block low, but you can try to sidestep. You can try things. But I made a full video about this where I was talking about the 3 ways that they are basically simplifying the gameplay in dumping down. I didn't say dumping down, but dumping down the Tekken scenario and everything. And one was one button combos. They've always been in the game since Tekken 3.
Sure.
And that's not a problem. It's actually easier for someone to learn something like this and learn the fundamentals of the game while it doesn't have to remember combos and everything, especially if they don't give you as much damage. Now, on the top of my mind, I don't even remember the second one, but I remember what was the third point. It was the only one that I was very against, which is something that has been expressed a lot in this game, and it's perfect moves. Perfect moves is moves they don't give you a counter. They don't give you just a counterplay. You know, I make always the instance of dynamic entry 3 because it's for me outside of it.
That was the moment. Yeah, when they made that change, I think it was when we all learned. Oh, that's what you want the game to be like. It's not an accident. It's intentional. Yeah.
And it's like, especially with that move, it makes it so stupid because you have dynamic entry 3. You have to hit the mix-up. Okay, so you can do low, you can do mid, but the third option, which was a high power crash.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like, why does he have as well a high power crash now, and he can just go low and mid, your opponent can do anything. The power crash was in that stance. You could use the power crash in that stance because if the opponent would have challenged you, you would have got through his challenge, and then you start to have the mental stack. But these kind of scenarios they implemented in Tekken, they just flatten this mental stack. There is no more. There is no more this quick decision making. And I always remember one day, one of my colleagues, a friend of mine, is a chess master, like an official chess master. And I was describing Tekken to him because when you speak to someone that used to play Tekken in the past on PS1, they just think that Tekken is mashing buttons altogether.
Yes.
And I tried to explain him
the layers
very briefly what frames are and what really Tekken is. Okay. And then he looks at me, he's like, oh, but it's basically kind of layered chess 100 kilometers an hour. It's like
yes, absolutely. It's high speed rock paper scissors / poker I think oftentimes I do feel like it is. Yeah, it's rock paper scissors meets poker. That's how I describe it to people who don't really understand gaming.
There's a lot
because
of
it's like
here.
Yeah, because it's poker, because there is gambling, right? And it's like and it's imperfect. Unlike chess, where you have perfect information, like you have imperfect information. Right? I don't know what my opponent's going to do, but I have a sense of what is the most rewarding option for them, and like and I get a sense of their tendencies. Like, this guy's playing risky, so I think he's more likely to go for the risky low or whatever, right? But maybe he's bluffing, right? So I think I understand that. And before I forget, there's something I want to mention. So Shin Pete, one of the regulars over on Twitch, has mentioned an interesting thought that I want to throw by you. So he was saying that, what if we keep heat dashes and the like as -5, but there is major pushback? Think about the electric wind godfist, right? When you block an electric wind godfist, even though it's you're -5, you never feel like you're -5, right? Because it pushes you all the way back. So really, you just reset to neutral. Do you know what I mean? Like, what if that happened? What if let's say heat, remember the heat burst, right? What if heat burst was like that too? What if all of these things happen, but it's almost it doesn't gain you advantage, it just resets.
It doesn't keep you there. It doesn't. For me, it's fine as long as you give me pushback with Brian.
But of course, if you're at the wall, for you as a Brian player, I'm like, close to the wall is even better, right?
I want to stay close to you. But as a general,
why not? I think that's fair though. I mean, and even if, like, let's say when they are by the wall, the pushback does bounce you against the wall, so now you're -15. I think that's more fair because you're back to the wall, right? Like that tracks.
Yeah, it depends. I think as well, it depends on the move itself. I honestly think I see the simplification having E-dashes on +5, but like I honestly think these cases should be evaluated move by move. And I know people will say, it will make it very complicated. Well, Tekken has never been an easy game. If you want to play Tekken, you buy frames, and not just for fun, and you want to learn frames, get ready to memorize such a massive amount of information that having 10 moves extra to learn per character at the end, it doesn't even feel that bad if you think about that. So, because at the end of the day, if you come to a thought, you go back to compare. Let's change the move. Let's put the Kazuya Spike, which is outside it is -18, I think. That move is crazy low, crazy slow. But in it becomes a +5. That move should not be a +5. That move should not be positive because it's a very risky and negative move. So it should just be neutral with pushback or something. But it shouldn't give you the kind of advantage that it gives you. So I think some of the moves can be seen in that way. Some other moves should be even more advantageous, you could argue, even if it sounds crazy. But it's like, why you have moves like UCF4 where it's +7 or +8 block on it, or when you go on a hit dash or the hit dash is the kind of non-plus ultra of the oppression, non-plus ultra of the attack. Okay, is the ultimate attack, is always plus and everything. It gives you even less advantage. Why would?
But then what if? So it's interesting that you said that. I don't know if you've ever played Street Fighter 6, but they do something quite similar. It's worth playing, I think. But they have, I guess it's pretty controversial. They have Street Fighter community is having their own sort of discussion about whether they're dumbing down Street Fighter or not. But they have a system called Drive Rush, where like you flash screen. If you've ever seen the gameplay footage, you flash screen and you move forward, right?
It's like it's like the cancel to keep on, like the Shoryuken cancel go forward? Or?
You can do it with a Shoryuken, but yes, essentially, like you can cancel a lot of your normals into this thing to maintain pressure. But what's interesting with that is that with each of those, I forgot the exact number, someone on chat will correct me, but they made it so that you always are you're always plus, I think, 5, but as in +5 from the frame data. So let's say the move was -5 on block. If you do it, then it'll be 0. Right, and if I do a plus on block move into it, then it's plus. So, for example, quarter circle forward 4, right? What do you say? What is it? Plus whatever on block.
That would be 7 on block.
Exactly. So it would be super plus if he does that. But if you do a move like Blonde Bomb, right, which is meant to be -14, and then you heat dash, well, and now you're only going to be -9. So you're like, so it's safe. So you make it safe. Right, so they could. That's another direction they can go in. So it's always +5, but not +5 from 0, +5 from whatever the regular frame rate is.
Yeah, I see. That
could be interesting.
Agree with this.
Yeah, so maybe that's a
direction. Again, like yes, the extra +5 can be a general rule, but it doesn't meet the one rule because I even want to see honestly +12 QCF4 every time when I block it.
No, of course.
But on the general state of rule, you have or like as well. I think it would not be fair to have a move like the Kazuya Spike, which is minus 18, 17, whatever, and you go there and it's still minus 12 after I
right,
eat that.
right,
At least minus 9. You should have anyway the threshold that it should not go below.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
An unsafe move becomes safe.
Yes.
Minimum minus 9 minimum, and then you can grade it over there.
No, I'm with you.
Plus move is plus, depending on how plus it is, how plus you want to make it. But you still have, I think you still need to set limits. Yeah. Because I honestly think every dash move should be safe, because at the end is a resource. You use a resource, very strong resource. Yeah. And as well, this makes me think. This is more related to the hit smash though, but it connects directly to that in my mind. Like, because hit is a resource in a bar. What do you think about hit smash doing the same damage when you use it at the beginning of your bar, when you use it at the last drop of your bar?
Oh, people were talking about this at the very beginning of the game's life. Should it do I'll be honest with you, I think no. I like keeping it the way it is. I understand the sense of like you can use it at the beginning and then it does more damage, or you use it at the end. Like it would I like the idea of you while the bar is there, you are very dangerous. Like I do like that. I do like that idea. But I do understand the wisdom of potentially reducing, to avoid that sense of I'm gonna drain my bar to the very last bit and then go for the heat smash at the end. I understand the frustration of that. Yeah. It might solve the Kuma situation of electric and into that situation, which is I hate that. It is the most infuriating sequence, because you're just like, I know what I'm gonna be doing for the next 6 seconds of my life. Like I'm just gonna be holding.
Can you parry it? Do you know?
I don't think so. I don't
think so either.
I've not tried it, bro. I'm not that brave. I don't have that kind of confidence. I'm not gonna experiment in a match or even in the lab. But I'm not doing it. But yeah, so it sounds like so we've spoken a lot then about essentially I'm trying to work out how best to summarize what we've basically all said. We seem to be in agreement that heat is very powerful in its current state, and if we want it to be powerful, then people should generally access it less often, either only twice per turn, or maybe twice per game or once per game. Or if you want to keep it every single round for other balancing reasons, then maybe reduce the amount of advantage that you get and change it like move by move basis. So like a move that is launch punchable on block now becomes maybe only -10, or maybe even safe. A move that is typically a little bit unsafe all of a sudden becomes safe, maybe even slightly plus, maybe +1 or whatever, nothing crazy. And then a move that is, plus maybe becomes even more plus, so it comes maybe from +4 to like +7. So your opponent's in a really tough spot, but nothing too crazy, right? So it's almost like stages of advantage from heat dash moves, as opposed to universally +5, because the consequences are very different. Yeah, I think that all makes sense. I think we're in agreement here. Okay, so then next question, because we've been thinking a lot about this, and funnily enough, the question I asked you at the very beginning of this was like, what thing would you change the most? And you went straight to heat, and I agree with you, which is why I was like, that's why I asked it too.
Cool. Because like if I think one change that would, because like the problem in general, like if you make these changes to heat, you literally solve, if you aim correctly and you actually do it right, you actually solve a lot of problems the game is having, instead of just focusing on balancing every single character, which is something that needs to be done.
For sure.
But it's like, it's like when you're cutting a piece of paper in a shape. Okay, no, that's not even a good distance. I cannot call it a good distance. But you start to anyway trim the rough edges, and then you go with the more precise movements in general when you do things. And that's more when you cut a piece of wood in a shape, actually.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I hear that. No,
so that's why my thought goes straight there. It's I don't know about you, but it's like actually would like to hear your thoughts. It's like what is the thing that you would change?
No, I think for me, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it is, one of the chatters earlier said it. I think I like to think of it more from a problem solving perspective, right? Like why? There's a lot about Tekken that I love. And I always make this joke. I want to love this game. I keep trying. I want to love this game. I want to enjoy. I'm trying, Harada. I'm trying. I'm not one of these salty people who's like, this game sucks. I'm like, no. I'm trying my hardest to like this game and find ways to play it in the ways that are most enjoyable, and try to spread the good word of what Tekken can be. So I'm trying to be positive constantly. But I think the problem that I'm having, and a lot of what we're talking about, is I actually want to hear your thoughts on this. I think a lot of the reason why we play fighting games is it's fun to feel powerful. It's fun to like learn a new technique and to execute it and to it's a bit of a power fantasy, and not a dumb power fantasy like in, let's say, a crazy action game which is easy mode. Like, it's a difficult challenge. Failure is very common, so then when you win, you feel great, right? But I think a lot of it is about power. I think what's really frustrating in Tekken 8's philosophy is I think they wanted players to feel very powerful when they're playing their characters, which is why the moves are so bombastic, why heat the system works the way it does, why everything is so crazy. But the problem is you're always going to spend about 50% of the round defending. And so I find that you often feel more powerless than powerful, more often than not. I often feel like I'm quite helpless, or I'm just at the whim of the person I'm playing.
Mercy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing that's the most frustrating. So they've failed to deliver on I think they failed to deliver on the experience that they wanted, right? And I think what they wanted was it's a good goal. Like, they want players to feel very powerful on offense. But I think oftentimes the net experience is that in Tekken 8, more than in Tekken 7, I often feel completely powerless in a way that I didn't when I was playing Tekken 7. You know, people often complained about, the backdash meta, right? Like, you'll constantly have to backdash, and how boring that is. But the thing is, maybe that was boring to some people. I don't think it was. I think that's a bit overblown. Maybe watching tournaments was a bit boring. Yeah, watching that tournament.
Stage.
Totally. But yeah, exactly. But let's be real. When you were actually playing Tekken 7, how often were you actually facing against, Kunimitsu on Infinite Azure? Like, not that often, right? But as quote unquote boring as that felt, you never felt, and I don't think it was boring, but let's say for the sake of argument it did, you didn't feel powerless, right? I don't think you ever felt powerless. That's the thing. Potentially you felt powerless if you were the one chasing after Kunimitsu, right? And she's backdashing out the way. So then maybe you felt powerless. But like now, I feel like you feel powerless against 90% of the cast. And what's really interesting was I didn't want to be salty when I was playing Leo, and I was really struggling with this game. I was really trying to get into it, which is why for the past few months I've been playing different characters. And it's really funny. I played Xiaoyu for a bit, and I felt like, oh, this is way easier than it was playing as Leo. But not necessarily because I think she's a better designed or even stronger designed character than Leo, but rather because the nature of her heat system meant that I could make my opponent feel powerless for long periods of time rather than being the one to feel powerless. And what's even funnier is that now I've stopped playing Xiaoyu and I play Feng, and it's even worse. Oh, I made the joke where it's like, I don't have to lab when I play Feng. You have to lab. You have to lab my stuff. I don't have to worry about you because I can just run my offense and you have to deal with it. And that's kind of why the characters who are top tier, where the Dragonovs, the Ninas, like, because you have this ability to just run offense, and the defender has to fake. And that sense of powerlessness that you can subject other people to is directly proportional to how frustrating I think people feel. Because I think people hate losing more than they hate not winning. As I know that sounds like a weird way of putting it, but the issue people have when I have a bad rank session, it's not because I didn't win. It's because lots of the time I feel like I lost in ways that felt unfair. And I think that's losing is everyone who plays fighting games loses a lot. It is what it is. But there's just something about the way you lose in Tekken. It's like, man, this fucking sucks. Yeah. Like, I just had to hold it. Eddie hit me with this move, and I just had to hold it, and then he activated heat, and then I had to hold it, and then I stood up, and he did the ground move, and I just got steamrolled. And it's like, this is not great.
Yeah, but that's true. That's unfortunate result of their idea that they had of, like, reducing this gap from high level and lower level play. Mm-hmm. The only way to do that is adding 50-50s, like forcing 50-50s. Because 50-50, a force 50-50, what does is just taking that skill gap away. Because if I put my opponent in a situation of you have to guess, and you cannot get, there is no option select, and there is no rock, paper, scissors, it's a two-way scenario. It's mid or low, okay? And both are very good and positive for me. It doesn't matter that he's you, it doesn't matter he's a green rank, it doesn't matter that he's Ulsan himself. If I press circle and he's a low and he was blocking me, even Ulsa gets it. It's a very simple trick. That's the power of 50-50, and that's the biggest difference from at the end Tekken 7.
Yes.
I am someone, and I say this every time, I am not knowledgeable of this game, of frames. I'm not there. I win with my character because I have a decent timing. Period. I am good of understanding the timing of my opponent, and I'm good to get always that one frame before him. And with Brian, if you do that, you're God.
You win.
That's it. That's simple. And that's what brings me there. But as soon as my opponent has a bit of knowledge against me, I don't have a real 50-50. And he starts to swim on me. That's done. If my opponent plays someone like Lydia, but Lydia is the non plus ultra 50-50.
Oh, really?
For me, it's apart Shy unit. The Lydia, is just and again, I know it's because I completely don't know what to do in certain situation. But every time she goes in that heaven and earth, and it's like,
oh no, that's everyone. Yeah, you have to guess. No, you have to guess. There's nothing to know. You have to guess.
For me, that kind of concept is like. Like, I'm way more respectful of Lars one, because at the end of the day, it's like Lars Dan 3 becomes way more similar to Brian. It's like Brian 50-50 is the hatchet or whatever mid he wants to do. Okay? But the hatchet, at the end of the day, yes, you can hit it 5 times and then you're still there. You don't want to, if you start to block low against Brian, it's you don't want to do that.
Yes.
You don't want, there is no reason for you in doing that. And it's the same thing with Lars at the end of the day. It's like, why would I block or try to challenge that load as a counter launcher, or it doesn't do the damage? I just did it. But when you put me in this situation that if I don't block low, or if I have to pick and I pick wrong, the downside is actually heavy. And you force the situation. I think that's where it makes you feel really powerless. Getting a force 50-50 and then it knocks you down, the wall splats, the wall blasts you, or engages. It's like, that's a bit too much. Yes, let me pick, force me to pick. I don't give
but don't make the cost too heavy. And I've been saying this from the beginning, because I do think that for me, that is the word that I use. I spent a lot of time, as you know, just thinking about that. Like, what is it that really gets on my nerves? I don't just want to complain mindlessly. I don't have Twitter. That's not really my thing. But like, I think it is, when I listen to other people play, when I play and I watch other streamers, there is this sense of like powerlessness that is the opposite of what you want in Tekken. Like, just you're funny that you said that you're not much of a frames person, right? And like, I'm the opposite. I am a frames person. I like to know everything, right? I lab everything. I lab too much, right? And I overthink things. And one of the things I liked about Tekken was that, there's that old saying that knowledge is power. In Tekken, that was really true. The more you knew, the more powerful you genuinely were. And maybe too much, right? Maybe that was the case. Maybe they wanted it. Maybe they wanted to shrink the gap between, because a knowledgeable player could just shut down a non-knowledgeable player like that. Like, you just shut them down completely. And maybe they were like, well, we want to reduce that skill gap. We want to make it so that even if someone has less knowledge, then if person A has less knowledge than person B, person A still has a means of threatening and making B sweat. And I can understand that goal. But it's had the converse thing of like, well, then why am I studying? Why am I studying for this test?
Exactly. That goes against what Tekken has always been. Because at the end of the day, yes, I say a non-knowledgeable player, but I know basic punishes, guys. I know.
No, of course.
I know my basics.
Being facetious, for sure.
It's like, I know that if I block highs, we have to launch. Don't worry. So just because people maybe didn't see me play.
Oh, true.
So, like, I know my basics. I just don't know most of, like, there are a lot of matchups that I don't know. But it's like Tekken has always been and used to be that. Once you get to a certain level, it's like you block a specific move to counter in a situation. Like, use a specific move in a specific situation depending on the frame that you are. It becomes punish, or it becomes a more passive move, or jab, or mid jab. It's always this quick decision making depending on the frame that there are. This Tekken, and then you put the mental game off depending when you're a bit more in neutral. But this goes all away, gets blown all away when basically you never get a chance to do that once, or you just, once you block and everything, you don't have an option selector, you don't have a rock, paper, scissors, but just and just goes completely away, and you just flat out the game experience. There is no mental stack there. That's why I love Brian. I always say Brian is like, he has a nice toolkit that, depending on the situation and the tendencies of your opponent, you start to use different moves. It doesn't have the move that just works for everyone. Like, yes, QC back one is great, but you can just still duck and launch it. It's not.
This is actually something that's so funny, and I actually want to bring it up in the chat. This is like, I have a lot of respect for you as a player, because I remember we were having this discussion a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, bro, Brian's hatchet kick should launch on counter hit, and you were like, no. Brian is like a Swiss watch. Everything is designed to perfection. That would be too much. And I'm like, bro, who who would reject the buffs? You would actually reject that buff. Like, no, give Brian. It's like, look, this is Tekken 8. Brian's hatchet kick should launch on counter hit. You don't like you said it yourself. You don't have a mix up. So if I counter hit you with this big slow ass low, it should low. I don't even play Brian, and I'm like, yo, make the low, and you were like, no, that's too much. I'm like, bro, I respect that. Because honestly, because there's a lot of players who I just want my character to be really powerful, and they don't really think about broader balance. They don't really think about because that's how I am with Leo. People are often talking about Leo as like buff Leo, and I'm like, Leo's the kind of character who's like only ever 2 buffs away from being broken. So I'm like, yeah, Leo's a little bit below the power curve, but let's not do too crazy. I feel like when you really do love a character, you kind of don't want them to get too crazy. So I understand that mindset. But as someone who doesn't play doesn't play Brian, and who beats Brian's up all day, I'm like, bro, you need all the help you can get. Give him that hatchet kick counter hit, let it do it. But yeah,
let's put it like this. Let's say this with this one that you bring up, it's a nice assist to connect to actually what could be a very nice topic for that next half an hour. And it's like, if you give Brian such a strong tool, you give basically Brian a Scourge that just doesn't crush his eye, because Scourge crashes in the eye because it needs to. But anyway, you have a counter launcher low, so basically it becomes almost a complete 50-50. It is a complete 50-50.
But it's not though, because it's only. I feel like counter hit's different to a 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a timing thing.
Yeah, it becomes a timing thing, but still, it will just take away that much of the character identity. That then is gonna just end up to be another character that is losing his pure archetype and his pure game style, and just gets another flat out Claudio. You know, plus. Plus, and I think you can tell me this as well. I won't hear what you think about this. The nice thing of playing with Brian is that, you know, you reach a certain rank, and then you know that reaching that rank with Brian, especially Brian for my case, it's actually a nice achievement, not because of execution, but for how hard it is to pilot.
No, I understand. Brian, I agree.
In general, you take pride in what you learn and how much far you got, because every single color rank I got, even in Tekken 7 with Brian, because I started in Tekken 7, I was with Brian, I was ruler with Facom Ram and Leroy, and I was orange rank with Brian. You know? That's the reality. And then I made it to blue ranks with Brian. And it took me time. But then you go to take away all that, just give him a busted low, because that's what it would be a hatchet counter launch.
It would. Oh, okay.
It is a busted low.
Okay, continue.
But it's gonna end up to be, and this reattaches to what is one of my secondary character, but I don't play anymore because I find it boring. To what they done with martial law. You anyway add an element that goes to dumb down the character a lot. You don't find any more excitement into play. Because I love to play low in Tekken 7. And when I started to play Tekken 8, I said, I'm going to build. Before was out, I'm going to build my hitbox, which is there. And I want to play low, and I will finally master the proper DSS. Because on a hitbox, you see, that's very durable. I was doing some DSS stuff, but not the hard stuff. I couldn't do while standing 4 into instance. With this one, you can learn. And then they just flat out remove the execution, they put it into just hold forward, and guess what? I don't want to play low now.
Fisher Price law, I get that. No, I get
that's very good. But it's like you just lost every single depth in the character.
I understand.
There is no more this like, you know, this pyramid of low players where the lower one are the one that start to put the work, and they play low, which was very playable and usable, even if you didn't have the DSS console.
But there was a higher level, and
then you had, you know, Gozei. Double. Like when you see this guy playing, I saw Double playing live when I was PS fighting. That guy is, I don't know, but he was able to do that stuff probably even in Tekken 7, but doing it now, it's just, it's like, I can do this perfect cancel, I can do the instant slide just because like this. It's like, no, like I could, and I will finish with this. And I really didn't want to bring this up because they're gonna patch it if they hear it, so I don't want it. But you know Brian Hit Smash. You know the secret of Brian Hit Smash.
I don't know the secret of Brian.
Sorry, the Brian Taunt Hit Smash. Taunt into Hit Smash.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. I've been hit by that a couple times. What? No, I don't know. I don't know the secret. I've been hit by the taunt and then eating the Heat Smash right after.
So the Hit Smash is 16 frames because the taunt gives you plus 16. That's the mechanic. But what if I tell you that apparently It's not a real frame perfect.
What you mean? But how do I? I've been in it too much. Tell me the secret, bro. Tell us the secret.
So
how do I escape?
Apparently, there is a 8-frame leniency.
Okay.
To input.
Oh, so it's easy to do. So it's easy to input.
So it's like it's like it was a 8-frame move. Like you literally can do it.
A child can do it. Okay, cool. That's
okay. Instead of being a frame perfect input.
Yeah, you just do
because
it.
Because it's plus 16. You have to.
Oh shit. So, I thought the guys in my lobby, the Bryans in my lobby, were like godlike. They had been practicing for 300 hours. You Brian players are frauds. Y'all are frauds.
No, to be honest, most of the people don't know that. Even me didn't know that until a certain point. But it's I think Ty spoke about this, and then I talked it up, and it's like, yeah, it's a 8-frame leniency, high tone, very strong American pro player.
Yeah, I follow him on that.
20 for his tone T smash. But I knew that it wasn't a real perfect frame.
Yeah.
And but no one because like the first time I started to practice, I didn't have to practice. I just couldn't drop it.
Yeah.
Because it's a frame perfect. Something is wrong, and then I discovered it. So that's another thing that, in my opinion, is patched.
But again, this is where I think you and I might differ, because different people get different enjoyment out of the game, right? Absolutely. I am not an execution person. Like for me, I only care about execution. I care about choices, right? I like options. This is why I like the characters that I do. I like characters who have just just too many. Leo has got too many moves. I like Feng has got too many moves, right? Even Xiaoyu to some extent has too many moves, right? And I like that. I feel like I'm in a toy box. I have all these options, and I can sit there in the lab coming up. Oh, I could do this into this. This would be cool, right? That's what gets me excited, the choices. And so I only learn execution to the point where I can execute the choices that I want to make, if that makes sense. Which is why characters like Kazuya and Brian don't really appeal to me. They have no stances. They have really good moves that are locked behind tight execution. So if you're an execution person, that sort of like simplicity is the appeal, because the complexity comes in what you actually have to physically do. For me, it's the complete opposite. I'm like, no, I want characters who the inputs are pretty easy, but the complexity comes in the choices that you get to make in and around, right? And I like that both characters exist. But like you're saying, now that the inputs have been reduced on a lot of the time, I feel like players like you are you're kind of robbed and rewarded, because you're kind of given more power at ease, but the people who want those characters like the complexity that comes with it. And so that's a really interesting. So in a weird way, they made that choice for people like me, who would be like, well, I don't really want to play this character because I don't really find the execution worth the inputs. But at the same time, it's not for people like me, because I still don't want to play Brian, right? Like, you know what I mean? But really, I don't really think they addressed the goal that they wanted to. And it's funny that you mentioned like Law, because like Law is a character that just really frustrates me, because I'm like, DSS options have always been really powerful, but they were fair because they were hard to do. But now that it's so easy to do, like,
DSS was hard, guys.
It was hard.
It's like Magic 4 into DSS combos. It's crazy. It was hard.
Crazy.
It was hard.
Yeah, but now
not
it's
to do
easy.
Once, to do reliably.
Yes.
It's hard to practice, guys.
But now he still has all that option. They're just as powerful, if not more powerful, but easier than ever to do. So it's like, so now, weirdly, Law has become busted. Like, even though many of the moves have the same properties, like, and it's really funny. And this happened a lot. Like, think about how, I often talk about this. We all recognize that giving Dragunov a hatchet kick is such a wild choice, right? Because like he always had plus frames, but it was fair because he didn't have a low to capitalize on it, right? That was the trade-off, right? And I often feel, again, Kazuya hate inbound, but like, giving him a plus on block mid out of crouch dash is, again, wild, because that's so against what that was about historically. But that's not a bug. It's a feature. And so, given that these things are in the game, fuck it. Why not give Brian a launching hatchet kick? Because the thing is, it's like, unless you're going to bring those other things down, I mean, you have two options. You can bring those things down, or you can bring everyone else up, right? Those are the options that they have. And I just feel like they would have to remove so much stuff in order to bring everyone down, that it's probably just easier to bring other people up. And that's probably a problem, right? Maybe that would do more damage. But I'm like, that's the only, I don't know. It just seems like, because think of it this way, right? Feng, I'll give you a great example. Okay. Leo has...
I play him as well, so Feng, if you
exactly.
to Feng, okay.
Well, no, but there you go. So I'll go to Leo first, right? Leo has a quarter circle forward 1, right? Which is that dab move, the low dab, it like slaps your toe.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And like, on counter hit, it leads to a while standing for 1+2, which is a heat engager, right? So
Yeah.
like, you know, the wild standing move, right? So like, okay, that's the reward that comes from a counter hitting quarter circle forward move. I've been playing Feng now for about a month. I've got Feng to Tekken God Supreme, which is the same rank as my Leo, by the way, in half the time, right? And part of the reason is because when I quarter circle forward with Feng, if I counter hit you, I launch you. I fucking launch you for a full combo, right? And it's like inside, you know, for me, those two moves are like the perfect comparison, because I'm like, they're the same strategic choice, right? I'm going to slide towards you and attack low, right? And it's risky in the sense that in theory you can see the advance, but you have to guess between the low and the mid. It's the same move strategically, but the difference in reward that I get for taking that risk is night and day. It's ridiculous. And there are so many situations like that when I'm going from playing Feng to playing Xiaoyu to playing Leo, like where the same strategic choice is rewarded differently depending on where your character is in the tier list, it seems like, which is the reason why when I look at their hatchet kick, again, I'm not, if you're the Brian player, if you say don't make it counter hit, don't make it counter hit, I'm not arguing, but the reason why as a non-Brian player it seems like it should be that way is because I see many people have access to long range advancing lows that gain massive reward, and so for you to basically be taking the same risk and not get that same reward almost feels like a penalty. And I'm not saying that Brian's clearly a high tier character, right? But like in these online streets, there is a cheapness where it feels like, man, you are able, not Brian, but like other characters are able to access damage with so little risk.
Oh yes,
with so little risk. And so that's where I see the discrepancy. Because I'm like, I feel like whenever Brian hits me with a hatchet kick, he's taking a big risk to do that. And so it's kind of like he should get something for it if he's really right. Because like there's been plenty of times where
I get the counter hit knockdown, you know. Get the counter.
Yeah, true. You get out of hit knockdown. You do.
But no, but it's like just to go back on the beginning of this thought process that you had when you were saying like they removed the execution to make characters accessible to people that weren't player, like
yes.
with low, but you don't have to do it. I think that they did that in a way. I'm not talking about low specific, but just the general. Because low specific is just because it's the Bruce Lee clone, is the character that everyone remembers since Tekken 2, like Tekken 1, but Tekken 2 was even more fancy. He was doing the flips and everything, the flicks. Sure. Everyone was playing low at the time, and is the character that the casual wants to play. It's like the same reason that Gian is so easy. It's like you want to poster boy easy to pick up for everyone, which is more a business decision, and I understand that. The point with all generalizing, making everything easier was, in my opinion, done to because this game had way bigger sales than Tekken 7 at the beginning at its release, and because fighting games with this current generation of fighting games, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, they've been shown to be a genre they grow a lot in the last years. They wanted to have a general more accessibility to the casuals, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but I think they missed the spot because they thought that what the casual wanted is easy stuff.
Yes.
Casual, like in every single kind of game genre, we noticed that people don't want necessarily the easy stuff. Okay? Like in the past, in Tekken 7, the way to make a character easier was just to make an easy character, and that was the character would have been beginner friendly, like Cloud. That's what they were doing. Hero, like Fakura. One day you
sorry, move closer to the mic.
Sorry.
Quiet.
No worries. In one day you were knowing all the move list, and in 2 days you were know a couple of setups already.
Sure.
While with low, to actually harness the power of low, you needed to do the DSS. So they wanted to dump on everything to retain the casual, but they just thought that the people that were starting the game in casual, they didn't have any interest in loving and practicing their own character. Yeah. Which is, in my opinion, wrong, because it's like going back in years when Assassin's Creed, the old Assassin's Creed were out, and that's what the game was like. There was no difficulties. Everyone could play and win. And then they released Dark Souls, and guess what? Dark Souls was a success. Why? Not just because Dark Souls is a great game, but just because difficulty was back. You know?
Yes.
Difficulty was.
Finish your thought.
So it's like, I think that just generalizing and making everything easier, which is not necessarily there yet, but it is now. Like I can play a Mishima even if I cannot wait now if I want, and I'm pretty sure I can get to blue ranks even if I put my bit of effort in. But I think this was their the thought process there is behind the generalizing, like generally making everything easier. And I think that this is not what would have retained a casual. It's not giving him the power of making high execution stuff easier, but is rather the way to retain casual players is rather to have a bigger offline department that makes you feel a bit more rewarding to playing it. That's what makes you feel. Casual people does not play only online. Because, like, in my opinion, if you have 200 hours in this game and you're still on orange red ranks, there is nothing wrong with that. But you are not that much casuals, because this is the most the game you play.
But I would actually disagree on two fronts, right? I hear what you're saying spiritually, but I want to push back on the online thing. I think the vast majority of games that will ever be played in Tekken 8 are going to be online. That is the true in every Tekken game from here on till the end of time, okay? The online experience is really important because most games will be online. Even if you're a tournament player, you will play significantly more games online than you will offline. This is the nature of the game, right? And I'm not saying that therefore the balance should be balanced for offline, but it should be kept in mind, right? And to go back to what you're saying about difficulty, I think a lot of people get caught up in this because it's really funny because everyone's having this conversation. Mortal Kombat's having this conversation, Street Fighter's having this conversation, and we're having this conversation in Tekken too, right? And I feel that the thing that's missing, I read a book years ago called The Theory of Fun, right? Sounds boring, but like it's basically like what is fun and why do different people find different things fun, okay? And the concept is the reason why we find different things fun is because on some level, let's say you start playing the piano, right? And the music is horrible. Bang, 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 bang. But on some level, your brain knows that if I keep playing, I can get better. It's almost like a puzzle that your brain wants to solve. It's like, I'm bad now, but I can see the steps it will take to get to the next level. Or like, I think that sense of, okay, I lost, but I can see why I lost. And I can see what I can do to improve myself. There is something addictive about that. Like, I can see the next step on this ladder. I know what the next step is. And that's what allows you to keep going further and further and further ahead, right? And I think, like, what kept us when everyone who played this game was shitty at first. But what kept you going was the knowledge or the belief that if I just kept playing, I kept studying, I can get better and better and better. This game is even worse somehow than Tekken 7 at turning you from a complete scrub beginner into an intermediate, and then from an intermediate to a high intermediate, and an intermediate to an expert. It's the worst for that, right? It's literally super terrible. Because I'll give you an example. Everyone who's watching this probably has a matchup that they hate. Kuma, Xiaoyu, Zafina, whatever, right? Imagine you play quick match. In Tekken 7, here's what would happen. You would play quick match against someone, not ranked, just quick match. And that person would beat you 2 games. You'd be like, fuck. But they'd rematch you. You go, okay, cool. And then they'd beat you a 3rd game. And you go, fuck. And then they beat you a 4th game. You go, fuck. Right? And you're thinking, like, okay, this person has beaten me constantly. I'm going to keep playing this person until I beat them once. And you have the opportunity to see the moves, see the sequences over and over again. Okay, he does this. Okay, I think he's going to do this. Okay, duck here. And you can learn organically. And by the end of the set, it could be 8-1, right? Like, but that 1 is meaningful because you've come away from this experience better at the Law versus Kuma matchup. Because even though you've lost 8 times, you won that 1 and you've come away with more experience. And so that, let's say 20 minutes of play was valuable. Now in Tekken 8, whether you're in quick match or in ranked match, you can play 20 matches against Law, then Dragunov, then Xiaoyu, then Jin, then Kazuya, then Jin, then Yoshimitsu, then Jin, then King, right? But
just getting whooped all the time and
getting whooped, right? And exactly, getting absolutely whooped in all of these matchups, or let's say 50% of it. So you won more often, but you come away with it being like, I've not learned anything, right? And not only have I not learned anything, perhaps more important, I don't feel like I've learned anything. So I just have the negative feeling of feeling helpless in the rounds, the negative feeling of losing, and more importantly, I don't even have that sort of like that slight bit of candy that you would get from. But at least I know the matchup a bit better. You don't get that anymore. And those, again, I think if you're designing a fighting game, it is very important that the experience of losing be rewarding. I think that's the key. The game doesn't have to be easier. It's just that when I lose, I need to be able to take something away from it. I think people underestimate the power of the season pass. I love the season pass. I think season pass is great. Having this little experience bar. You play 4 games today. Great. Experience bar. Unlock this thing, right? Doesn't matter that you lost. 6 games. Your combo's there. Like having, I remember I was talking about this years ago. I would have loved for a replay feature. So I would love to have like a Mokujin coach who would be like, hey, here is your average combo damage. And in this match, your average combo damage was lower than usual. And you go, oh, that's wild, right? Here is the average combo damage of people in your rank with this character. And here's your average combo. So like, yes, you lost, but more importantly, get your combos up. And they've already started that with the whole, you can duck this high, or
that's
this
the amount of
12.
punishes your misses. That's the
exactly. But like, they should have gone more in depth. Like really, because again, if you make the losing experience meaningful, like, yes, I lost, but here's how you got better. I was thinking this, again, final point before I pass it on. Like, I remember people were complaining about the situation where you're in ranked, and let's say you're in Raijin, right? And then you end up having to fight against someone who is like Tekken God, but on their ult, right? Yeah. And people complained about that, and you would lose the same amount of points as if you lost to a true Raijin, right? And that's very frustrating. And I remember saying, and they were like, and they ended up coming up with the fucking pro-ass matchmaking, which I think is a horrible mess. And I always remember thinking, look, all you have to do is this: keep the system exactly the same way it is, but make this difference. If someone has higher prowess than you, right, and they play against you, you go, hey, you, the underdog, if you lose this match, you will only lose half. You'll only lose half the amount of points that you would normally lose. But if you win this match, you'll get double, right? Yeah, all of a sudden, you would want to fight. You know what I mean? You would turn what is currently a negative experience to a positive, because I'm like, okay, then this guy is fucking God of Destruction on his main character. I'm fighting him. If I lose to him, it's like, okay, it doesn't hurt as much. I only lost half as many points. It's not there. But if I won, holy crap, I'm a G. Yeah. I'm a gangster. I'm a god. Like that's all they would have to have done. They don't have to change the entire system. Just that one change alone would have made it feel great.
Because as well, if you just made it like you used to be in Tekken 7, when the prowess was affecting the amount of points you were winning and losing in Tekken 7, but would just bring it down. Basically, if you this scenario, you would win 200 points instead of 400, you would lose 200 points instead of 400. So the match itself was becoming meaningless. Yes. And because you were fighting someone that you were seeing being way above your rank, you would even fight with less willpower, and you will just get you will not put the effort. You will put in. Oh, I can win 4. I can basically get 4 matches of point in one victory. Like 2 matches of point in one victory. So I'm actually
I'm motivated.
I'm
super. Absolutely. And that's the best. That would be so good. And again, just final point. Like again, it comes back to that feeling of powerlessness. Because again, you feel so like, oh man, I've lost 2 games. If I lose the next game against someone in the same rank, I'm gonna have a loss bonus. And then some motherfucking God of Destruction shows up in the same rank as you, and you're like, this, before the game has even started, you're angry. You're like, this sucks. And then he beats you, because of course he does. He's more experienced than you. He's been playing Tekken since fucking Tekken 5. And you're like, you just get bodied. And you're like, this sucks. And it's not just that you lost. It's the fact that like, you felt powerless the whole way through. And I'm like, again, this could be fixed. This is like human psychology thing. It could be fixed.
It's not just, I think in this specific case that you talk about the matchmaking as well, I think the matchmaking itself is as well something that we need to talk about. Because how this is structured, quick matches and ranked matches are structured now, it's in my opinion very, very, very poor, and that goes to tie very close to a game system that rewards a lot of mix-ups, and this doesn't make the two of them work together very well. So having like even quick matches on fake first to 2, in my opinion, is just fighting so much against you on making you learning matchups, because it doesn't like I'm not saying, I honestly like I think, I don't know, but I'm not for deathmatch in ranked. I am not. Because ranked, in my opinion, it wants to be a tournament simulation. That's what we want to do, and I agree. I think it should be like this. You should rotate, but quick matches, there is no reason to have it on fake first to 2. If I find, when you find that player, you know the feeling. When you were playing Tekken 7, you found that player. Okay.
Well, evenly matched. Evenly matched.
You will not earn or lose a rank. Because you were winning 5 and then you were losing 5, or it was just a back and forth all time. And you were spending your whole afternoon, and then you were I did a 2-hour session, and guess what? I played against one guy.
You know what?
Totally. I enjoyed my 2-hour session. So and again, it's like the prowess matchmaking. It's just such a basic, a simple solution. And I don't understand why it's not being implemented.
Yeah, every other fighting game does this. Like that sense of like, yeah.
Did you see that tweet, Reddit, whatever? It was a couple of months ago when a guy he photoshopped on the rematch menu after you lose a ranked the first game in ranked, or the last game in ranked. Sorry, there is a switch to quick match.
Yes.
In Photoshop. It's like that would be great. That would be great.
They have that in Street Fighter. Yeah, they have in Street Fighter.
That's so easy. They have it.
In Street Fighter, you can when you force versus 2 in ranked, and then you can be like, do you want to? And you can immediately open a private lobby between the two of you immediately. You can offer someone. Yeah, it's. Don't get me started on Street Fighter.
That would be great. That would be
so
good.
It's common sense. But hold on, I want to challenge you on something. So you have said that I think we're in agreement that it makes no sense for quick match not to be infinite just rematches, and I have a theory as to why they've done this. But you then said, or you said it before that like you think that death matches should not return, long-term ranked, because they want to simulate tournament setting, right? Okay. So I go back and forth on this. I'm someone who thinks that I want them to bring back death matches in ranked personally, but I can understand the argument of not doing that. But here's my counter argument. If you're not going to do rematch, if you're not going to do first to, how do I put this? If you're not going to allow death matches in ranked, then you should at least force the first to 2. I'm tired of these one and done.
Absolutely.
These one and dones are crazy. I'm like, if you leave the one and done, in fact, here's how I would solve. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of programming reasons why this is difficult. But if I'm playing you with ranked, right, I feel like the points should only be awarded to us after the set is complete.
Like in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, and if you leave mid-match, you lose all points. Like, that's it. It's treated as though you have lost. I think for me, it's these are the two positions, right? If you want to allow people to have the freedom to one and done, fine. And in that case, let me have death matches too. So I can play one person once, and then I can play this other person 8 times in a row. Or if you're like, no, you can't do that. People will abuse it. Tournament setting. Okay, fine. Then force the first to 2. Pick a lane, because right now it's the worst of both worlds. And honestly, if anyone has seen me on stream, nothing makes me angrier than I play the match. This is a tricky matchup. I don't like doing it, but I take a deep breath. I fight it. I win or lose, and I go, okay, but I'm ready for the rain. And now I have to go back to the lobby and wait for another matchup that I want to hate. Even when I win and I get one and done, I feel frustrated, because I actually, anytime I play a ranked session, I actually want to play as few humans as possible. Because each person is different. Each person is an experience. And I kind of want to be able to play ranked for an hour and only play against 7 people or 3 people. Like, I want to be able to have that. Yeah. Even if it means that I play against fucking Dew Glider, who's like my demon on rank. Dew Glider has demoted me more times than any other human on the planet of Earth, right? Did it in Tekken 7 and is doing it again in Tekken 8, right? And like I would be okay with that if Dew Glider just beat me 8 games in a row so that I can experience the majesty of Dew Glider, and I'll maybe one day learn to beat a Lily player of that caliber. But the problem is, they just come, beat me, take my points, and I've learned nothing. I've not played them enough to beat them. So the next time I go online, just do it again. And I'm like, I'm just getting robbed. It's the worst.
That's definitely the experience that there is now, especially if you reach after you get to Tekken King. You stay in that area and there above. That's the vibe you get now. It's like you remember the stream where you were in as well, and I lost. I was Emperor. I went back to Tekken King. Mm-hmm. The day after, I played on my own, and I go back to Tekken Emperor in half an hour because I cannot play on stream apparently. But I remember the specific setting. I was, how it is. There are days they are just locked in, and you are a machine. Yes. You are a machine, and that day was one of those. I logged in, I sit down, I have my first match, and it's like, fine, I'm gonna get Tekken Emperor. It's not gonna be hard. So every match I lost, I rematch obviously because I live by the process. And at the end, most of them I lost them. I think all of them I lost them by 2-1. They were back and forth at the end of the day. Every match I won, I go one and done. And you're getting robbed. You're getting robbed because that's a player on your level who you should be able to get 2 sets of points off, but you're only getting 1, right? No, but it's not a level. It's not the level. If it goes like this, I know it's not a player of my level of their rank because it's probably boosting. I don't want to use.
But I know what you mean.
But it's basically delaying is the motion because it needs
By
to take double the losses every time and eventually find someone that you can
but
win
no
against.
but Jad, it's worse. It's worse. You're actually being a lot more generous because he's not just delaying his demotion, right? It's actually, how do I put this? If you were a sociopath, right, and you were just trying to rank up the fastest way possible, you should just one and done. Like, it's mathematically because of the streaking system, right? If again, Douglas is a great point. If Douglas shows up, Gian, I hate to admit it, I'm gonna lose twice. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so every time Douglas shows up, they are immediately going to put me on lose bonus, right? Because they're going to beat me once and then twice, and then the next game I can lose and get screwed. So it's like, it's in my best interest every time they show up, play them once and then bounce and then leave, right? And so the system actively incentivizes one and done. This is the thing.
That's true. I never thought about that, but that's true.
It, because of the streak system. That's the thing. The streaking system incentivizes one and done. You should one and done if your only goal is ranking up as fast as possible. And that's what's really toxic. So this is why I find the anti-infinite rematches clause in ranked so frustrating, because the idea is to maintain integrity. And I'm like, what integrity? The system as it currently stands incentivizes one and doneing. That is the optimal way to play, because there are some people who I can beat twice in a row consistently at my level, and there are other people who are going to beat me twice in a row at my level. So if I just dodge the latter and just milk the former, I will rank up faster than if I play everyone 32. Because if I do everyone 32, then I'm going to have more losing streaks and the same number of winning streaks, because I want to 32 everyone, right? And that's not right, which is why I just think you should either force the first two, or in terms of the points, right? Obviously, if an emergency comes on, fucking your house is on fire, there's a doorbell, you can leave. Of course, no one should force your hands, but you should lose the points. If you play ranked, you are agreeing that I have enough time to play a 32 set, right? It's not like League of Legends where matches take 20 minutes, okay? You can just do this very quickly and then bounce. So, and if you don't have that kind of time, there's quick match, right? Like it's not rocket science. And I just find both the anti-deathmatch people and but I refuse to, like, people shouldn't be forced to finish the set. This makes sense. Like, it clearly should be one or the other. It just seems wild to me that it isn't.
For me, you win once you beat me twice. You beat me after you beat me twice. You don't beat me.
Of course. That's how
Especially
I feel.
this game. I don't want to say, look, there is a part of me that thinks that actually for how speed the game is, for how fast the game is, and how fast the rounds are, it should even be first 3. But I understand that it would be a very potentially it becomes a very long time commitment, and it's having a 1 hour session becomes having basically 3 matches, and it's like rematch is an extent. It's probably 5, but still it's not the same. So I think first to 2 works because as well is the most common tournament scenario, and forcing it, just to make this clear, I completely agree with you. It does not mean if you have to leave because you have an emergency or whatever, you just have to leave the PlayStation on, or you can leave the match. If you see that your opponent smokes you so much that you don't want to have a rematch, you can leave it. Just give away the points. And another thing that I will add, the point system in this case, after a forced first to 2, should be, let's say hypothetically, the top prize is 1,000 points, okay?
Sure.
It's me versus you. I win 2 matches, you win 0. I get 1,000 points.
Yeah.
You lose 1,000 points if you are the highest rank. You lose 1,200 because the game wants to be mean. We get to, but honestly, again, I agree with losing more points than you can.
Sure.
But then, if we do,
if we split it, right, 1-1, and then you win, yeah.
If we split, we do 2-1. Like I win 2-1, I shouldn't get 1,000 points. I should get a bit less. You should lose a bit less. You know,
I understand.
It should be like this. It should be more gradual. You know, I think that, in my opinion, as well, is like there is so much paths you can take that are better than this. Like you can take.
Exactly.
There's so many paths
wild.
you can take that are better than this, but it's like they're just not doing it because I don't know. I think I had a
question to add, and then you can tell me what you want in season 2. But like, while you're thinking about this, what about the streak system in general? Do you like the streak system? Should you think the streaks should be removed? What do you feel about it? Because I have strong thoughts about the streak system. But continue.
The streak system should be tied. Is a big reward. Is too much of a big reward for how easy it is to achieve in both ways, or is too much of a big loss for how easy it is to achieve. Because at the end of the day, being based on 3 games, if you find that opponent with that character is a bad matchup for you, and the opponent is a very good player, okay, and he smokes you twice, you're again in the motion material. Sorry, you're again in the low streak material.
Yeah.
And the same thing, you find that guy that you notice he doesn't know how to punish the move. You can just exploit it. You win twice, and you're again in win streak material. So I think it should be tied directly to the game, to the first tool itself. You can even price it more. I don't mind. You can even price it a bit more. So like one match plus a 50% extra,
Sure.
But even pricing it more, because it's way more difficult to achieve. So you have to win 3 first tools in a row. Good luck with that on a certain rank. And it would still reward you less or make you lose less, because you will achieve that scenario less times.
It's funny, Nameless, long-time subscriber in the comments just said that, like, I think the streak system saved me. But I'm like, I think the streak system has probably killed you more often than it saved you. I'm sure there's probably been times where, yes, it's probably boosted you up on a particularly good day, but also buried you on a particularly bad day. Like, so it's like, it's no, and given that there's a negative slope to the rank system, and it gets more negative the higher up in the ranks you get, I think it's probably the opposite, right?
It's brutal.
But personally, I think I want the streak system gone, right? And I know they won't do it. But I want the streak system gone. But if you're going to keep the streak system, I think it should at least be tied to the players, not the matches. Because again, if I play against, I'm Tekken God Supreme now with Feng and with Leo. If I lose twice in a row to Joker, who's God of Destruction, the rank above me, that's supposed to fucking happen, okay? But like the idea that like I lose, that shouldn't count as 2 losses. That should count as 1. Because I lost to Joker. I lost to one person, right? So even if you beat me 2-0, I'd be like, okay, then so that's one person in this category that you couldn't beat. And then when the next person comes, if I lose to them as well, whether it's with split difference or whatever, then so I think the game version of streaks is like, it's too volatile. But here's the thing. Here's why they won't do it, right? And this is where I start to become a conspiracy theorist, okay? I feel like the purpose of ranked in its current form is not to be an accurate representation of your place in the skill distribution. It's meant to be addictive. It's meant to be gambling. It's meant to keep you playing for longer, right? That to me is the only way the current rank system makes sense. Because it's like, there's no way, if you wanted a rank system to truly be a representative of where you are in the rank distribution, you wouldn't make it like this. You would at worst keep the old 2nd 7 system, right? Or you would implement like an ELO type system, right? This current system, again, the Tekken team are not stupid, right? We can nefarious maybe, like especially on the marketing side, but not stupid. This to me, especially when we look at some of their business practices, which I'm not going to go into because that's we already know how we feel about that, right? But like, it seems clear to me that this is like a gambling element, because it truly does feel like you can have a good day or a bad day. It's not exclusively based on your skill. It's like, how many really good players do I come across? And I noticed this back when I first started playing Tekken, when the game first came out. I was playing hardcore ranked with Leo, and I was running into pre-nerfed Azucena, pre-nerfed Dragunov. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, my progress in ranked literally comes down to how many Azucenas, Kings, and Dragunovs do I run into. If I have a bad day and I run into 4 of them, it's over for me. But if I have a good day and I don't run into any of them, I might rank up even twice. And I'm like, that level of volatility shouldn't happen. Like, it shouldn't happen, right? It shouldn't matter if I win 5 in a row. Like, let me put it this way. It shouldn't matter whether I won 6 in a row and then lost 6 in a row, or whether I won 1, lost 1, won 1, lost 1, won 1, lost 1. Like, the order in which you know what I mean? Regardless of how it happened, I should end up on the same point of the progression regardless. But that streak system isn't really about skill. It's about luck, which increases like gambling and addiction, right? So if that's your goal, then it's a success. But if your goal is to be an accurate representation of your place in the pecking order, it's a shit system. Like, that's why I'm like, we can have these discussions, but I fear that they won't change it, because to some extent, it's doing what they want it to do. And at that point, I have to have a deeper conversation about, maybe I need to make a decision, because again, not to get too personal, but I actually have a history of gambling in my family. Like, it's a thing that like we get addicted to numbers, right? Like, that's just, it's in the blood, right? And so it's like, and I can feel, and as a result, I've been very fearful of gambling most of my life. I tend to stay away from it, even like casual stuff, because I know it can snowball, right? That's a personal thing. And so my spider senses have been tingling with this game since the very beginning. I'm like, oh no, this I know when I'm being manipulated, and that's what this feels like. And in the past, I'd be like, no, the Tekken team would never do that. But then when you look at the DLC stuff and the amount of pressure that they're clearly under in order to keep for all kinds of business stats, I gotta go, oh, it might be the case. And to go to wrap this around to the general topic that we're talking about, if there's one thing I really hope that they fix with Tekken 8, I mean, we talked about the heat system, that's number one. But number two, I really hope they change the ranked and the online experience in general. Because like I said, 90% of games, 99% of games are going to be played online. And if you get that wrong, the game's wrong. It just is. It just is.
So in the past, I made like a draft of what should be the rank system now. And I've thought like half of my video used to be about what's wrong in the rank system.
Give me a second, my phone went off.
No worries, no worries. By the way, but meanwhile, let me just quickly, because I'm suffering because I cannot see the chat. So let me open on my second monitor.
Oh, no worries, man, no worries.
Here we go. Oh, look, I'm in TV.
No, I have both chats open. I've got I have YouTube and Twitch. And sorry, obviously, that I'm not. There've been some great comments here, but I've not wanted to cut you off as you were speaking. So sorry about that.
No, yeah, but that's why. Like, I take this quick pause 1 second to just open the code because my internet looks like it's working very well. So I want to see as well what you're.
Hold on, let me see. Tashina, I've got a couple of comments here. Tashina, if they force a 32 in ranked, bad idea, and there will be a lose streak system, that will be even more like bloody final time I ever play ranked because it's not going to be fun. Okay, so someone here is like absolutely opposed to the force system with streaks. Streak system encourages one and dones. Why would you stay when you know exactly like I was saying, Ren? 100%.
That's what we all agree.
Yeah, 100%. We're all agreement there. Hold on. I like the idea that if you lose in a streak, make it deduce. So if you win 3 in a row now in your 2-week streak. Okay, yeah, I understand that. Basically what we were saying. Can we really rule out the fact that Tekken team are a bunch of crackheads? I mean, look, I'm not about to slander the Tekken team. I actually have a lot of respect for Tekken team, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you work for a large organization and there are pressures above you, being like, you got to make this amount of money, you got to do this, you got to make this, you got to make this, and it often forces you to make tough choices. So my anger is never towards Harada the man or Murray the man or even the Tekken team exclusively. I think. And not only that, when you remember when Harada made his sort of tweet apologizing for the Hayachi stage, I thought that was a masterful tweet. And I understand why they made him delete it. Because it was, I don't know Japanese culture that well, but I do know the sort of Asian culture of face saving. He was throwing the business team under the bus, under the guise it's my fault, guys. It's my fault. Guys, it's my fault. There's their team and my team, and I failed to communicate to them their needs. On the surface, he's like, oh, he's being a big man and owning up to it. But what I really heard was like, motherfucker, it's them. They're making us do it. Like,
yes, but at the same time, look, I give him credit because at the end of the day, he put the face and he said, I should have been more the lead of it, and this should have happened because I should have been there. And he's like, in nowadays, especially in the gaming industry, which is at the end of the day, if you think it's not a pit of shark, the gaming community, the FGC community is worse. It's worse. They're gonna eat you alive if you say something like this. So they're not all gonna take it well. So overall, I think that their answer after all the situation was all right. It's still, as I said, is not solving the problem. The biggest problem of all this situation is, in my opinion, it's not the monetization. It's not that. That's a problem. It's not the big problem. It's the fact that the way they communicate and they do communication, it feels like when I call my grandparents in Italy with WhatsApp, and my nonna talks to me like this. She's like this. How you doing? You good? You good? I cannot see you. You know, like I love my nonna, but you know, she uses WhatsApp. She's not born with WhatsApp. But that's how I feel like the kind of communication we are getting. You know, it's like they feel it's so. It feels like you're speaking to a bunch of grandpas. They don't know how to say things clearly. If you say things clearly, yes, if you wouldn't say things clearly, people would then not be agreeing with them 100% for sure. Yeah. But the backlash would have been way softer.
It's yes.
On certain things.
For sure. No, for sure, I agree. But I also know, like, when you work in large organizations, you have to be very careful about what you say, because if you comment on everything, then the one time you don't comment becomes a crisis, right? But if you don't comment on anything, then it's like, then you can deny everything just by not talking, right? It's kind of like that old line, like, you know, I remember Sony back in the day, I used to study PR, and they used to have this thing of like, we do not comment on rumor and speculation. And the reason for that is because if let's say someone makes a rumor and you say that's false, and someone makes another rumor and said that's false, then the one time someone says a ruler and it's true and you don't say anything because you can't say it's false, then they go, it must be true. Because when it's wrong, you deny it. So it actually becomes smart to just never comment, right? And this happens a lot in large organizations. But I agree with you in that sense of, you know, ranked was a great one because it was clear from the very beginning. I remember the first video I ever saw you were complaining about ranked, and I had previously made a video also complaining about ranked. And like I remember being like, no one in the community thinks the ranked system is well. And if the Tekken team came out and said, hey, we know that there are concerns with ranked and we're looking at it, if they just said that, literally didn't give us any plans, if they just acknowledged the dissatisfaction and that they were working on it, that would have actually done a lot to maintain faith. But the fact that they didn't mention it made you think, oh, they think that ranked is working well. But it's not, right? Yeah. And it was only at the last Tekken talk, when they were like, okay, we're making these changes to ranked, that they even, for the first time, acknowledged that there was dissatisfaction in ranked. Like, and so that's one area of bad communication. But I will say this, though. In a lot of their patch notes, especially the big patch notes, I don't know if you've noticed that on top of, before they go into the patch notes, they often explain why they're making the changes that they're making. I love that. I think that's great. I think that's fantastic. When they be like, okay, we're making this change because we designed this character to be like this, and these things are not allowing that to happen. And I that give praise where it's due, because I love that.
I think the best instance of that was running 3-2 from Azusen. It's like, yes, the move's counterplay was intended to be how it is because they wanted you to sidestep Dark. Who remembers it? Like, you could avoid running 3-2. You had to sidestep Black.
If you're a god, yes.
I did it once. I was so much in disbelief that I could not punish, and I got I did it once, but to be honest, when I did that, I felt like a fucking top 8.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like that's what they say. It's like the counterplay that was intended. It's basically too hard to achieve, and the move ends up to be just overwhelming and overpowering everything. They took it, so it's gonna be nerfed, and then they basically buffed it with the patch. But that's a different stuff. They haven't adjusted it. No, but it's like going back to the ranking system, because we had the little communication problem. There was one thing.
It's
like I had an instance of how the ranking system could be to make it way more efficient. Because like I think the biggest problem of the ranking system now, apart the fact that they push you to one and done, and you get rewarded basically for one and done, is the fact of how prowess matchmaking affects it, and how much how some of the jumps in prowess are big. And,
yes.
It's like,
famously, Tekken King.
It's like if someone, and someone in the chat might confirm this, but if someone makes it to Tekken King the first time, and his level is around that, he's around blue ranks, he struggles into the blue ranks, but eventually he gets Tekken King, and he has his prowess skyrocketing from 190 to 240. And then he goes in his next section.
Bro.
I remember that because like my story was when I reached Tekken King, and then I had a couple of coaching sessions with very strong guys. Because I was starting the channel, I wanted to be as competent as I could be. Okay, and my target eventually is to get to God of Destruction with Brian before I get all gray hair. And I remember that first the change to the game plan that I was having, forcing myself in a new game style, was obviously part of my losing, but the difference in level was so hard that I'm not ashamed to say that I fell down in rulers.
A lot of people do. A lot of people fall down to Fujin and to roots. Absolutely, because it is night and day. It's night and day.
And it's so much unrewarding. It's so much. It sucks away completely the value of the blue ranks.
Sure.
Because the blue rank itself doesn't have any value. It's the blue rank associated to the prowess. And on top of that, if you add the prowess, if you give the possibility to the prowess to increase depending on how many characters you have, to not a crazy rank, because you just need them to have Fujin, you find people And I noticed this a lot by reading the comments of my videos. There is a lot of people that plays a lot of different mains, and they have an inflated prowess, and they're already over 260,000.
Yeah.
But they never made it to Tekken King. How they're gonna get there? It's like they're fighting people that is way above their level with their main character. So it's like, it's insane.
Hang on, I've lost my cursor.
There you go.
I tried to have it make. Everyone, I'm a bad streamer. That's the plan. Oh, why can't I make it full screen? How you go full screen? Bear with me. Ooh. We're back. All right, sorry. Continue.
No, but that's the point. When you have people that basically is playing random characters, playing different characters, it brings them all up to blue ranks. There's a lot of people. They have a prowess that is higher than mine.
Yeah.
It's like, how they're gonna get up? How good they're gonna get higher up? Because they're gonna, like, one of those players. If he faces me against Brian, not because like, oh, I'm better, but that's just facts. You know, it's like my prowess being up there just with one character very high is different than someone that has 10 Fujin characters.
Yes.
So we are at different levels. We shouldn't be fighting each other.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna fight each other.
But the thing is, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And I think for me personally, it comes all the way down to what we were saying about powerlessness, because the design of that is so fucking crazy. Okay, you've spent X amount of months. Fujin, I'm so proud I made it to blue ranks. Raijin, I'm climbing. Kishin, I'm climbing. Bushin, I'm climbing. You're using these as proof of you're getting better. Like, it's been hard. It's been frustrating. I've dealt with all these matchups that I fucking hate. This fucking scrub called Chad the Third keeps hitting me with fucking forward, and I keep losing, right? And then you get Tekken King. And then the game just secretly judo flips you. It's secret. It doesn't tell you this. And then all of a sudden you have to watch yourself for like a good couple of weeks. Back to Bushin. Okay, fine, whatever. I can get back up. If I went, no, down to Kishin. That's okay. I can get back up. No, down to that. Again, it's so
horrible,
demoralizing. I wish that there was a way we could study just how many people just drop the game at that point, because it's so demoralizing. Because again, there's nothing wrong with losing so long as you can understand why you're losing and it makes sense and you're telegraphing. But you feel so. Wait a minute. Just the other day, I could beat Fujins. Whenever someone with this tag came up on my screen, Fujin, I knew I could beat them because I was a Kishin now and I was better than that. But now, almost like magic, a Kishin will come up and just destroy me. And a Mighty Ruler might come up and make me sweat. And I'm like, what's happened? How is this happening? And it's such crazy bad design. And obviously we're above that now, but that's so crazy that they got there.
No, it's so demoralizing. It's like, let me be clear. Mm-hmm. It's so demoralizing, and I think it makes a lot of people, it's like, you really feel like all the journey you had until that point, all the gratification you had until at that point was just pointless and false. It was just an illusion. It was just an illusion. You weren't really that ranked. We're just telling you just ease your path until you get there.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if you are someone that sticks to that, when you then go back to that rank, to Tekken King, to Tekken Emperor, you get back there, it's like, okay, now I'm a freaking machine. But
why though? But why though? Why?
It doesn't make it correct. That gratification.
I'm agreeing with you. But what I'm saying is, if this was not my first Tekken game, if this was Tekken 8 was my first Tekken game, and that happened to me, I'd probably quit. I'd probably quit. Like, the only reason I kept doing it when I had that experience to me in Tekken 8 is because I played Tekken 8 long enough that I knew I wanted to get good, so I wanted to do that. But if this is your first Tekken game and you're doing this steady climb and then that happens to you, it is 100% reasonable, rational, correct for your mental health, correct in terms of how to use your time to say, fuck this game, I'm done. That is the correct choice. The only reason I'm doing it is because I remember how fun Tekken 7 was. And so, and I have this faith that Tekken 8 will get there. And so I'm willing to put in the time to get as good as I possibly can, even as the game is in this sort of unfinished state. I am fueled by faith in how good Tekken can be, right? But if I didn't have that faith, if this was just the first Tekken experience, I would have quit. I'd have quit along, and they would have been right. And it's been really hard for me as I'm trying to be relatively positive and giving people advice on how to proceed. It's been really hard for me to be like, hey man, I really want to quit this game. I've always been like, maybe you should, which sounds weird, but I'm like, no, I'm not. if you want to leave this game, I won't blame you, right? I'll tell you about how good fun Tekken 7 can be, and I'll try to hold lobbies on a regular basis, and I'll try to evangelize about just how great the game can be, right? But like the game does such a poor job of selling itself to you, which is wild because you assume that this is meant to be like the one that's for casuals, right? This is meant to be the most friendly one, but it is the game that makes you feel more powerless than ever before. In fact, in many ways, Tekken 8 to me makes me feel the way that a lot of players who didn't like Tekken 7 describe Tekken as. Because Tekken, one of my close friends, right? I have a really good friend who likes fighting games, but he doesn't like Tekken. And when he talks about it, he's like, man, I'm playing this game and I just get launched. And I'm just watching this cutscene of my body just flying across the air for a month and then just getting smacked against the wall. And it's just really demoralizing. And what I try and tell him is like, okay, that happens. But A, you can do that to them. And B, if you get really knowledgeable enough, you can actually like prevent the rate at which that happens to you. And that's the good feeling. Whereas increasingly, that's not the case. You just have to, you guessed wrong. So now you just have to watch this cutscene. Just deal with it, right? And like, it's so maddening. And I just, again, not just to get into a negative space, but like that was just another instance of the game making you feel powerless. And I've seen a lot of players, because obviously on my channel I talk to a lot of newbies, and a lot of people kind of come into the chat and they talk to me on Steam, like asking for advice and stuff. And like, man, when they tell me just how fucking depressed this game is getting them, I'm like, I cannot fault you for that. Like, is there something wrong with me? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with you. The game is doing this to you. Like, this game is depressing in many ways on that level. And it's, if you don't already have a built-in Tekken community, if you don't already have like a fun Discord to join, if you don't already have friends that you can play with on a regular basis, if you don't already have those, the positive aspects of the Tekken community in your life already, and you're just dealing with the product as is, it's super depressing. And that's
if
so
that's
bad.
your
That's
the
so
way you
sad.
experience Tekken, like
Yeah.
that's like, it's something that I discovered recently. It's something that I discovered with Tekken 8. Tekken 8 has been the first Tekken that I started to play offline. Because I, even when I was still living back in Italy, I always was playing Tekken, but I was playing Tekken alone, because my friends, well, they didn't want to play Tekken with me. They didn't have fun playing Tekken with me, and if they didn't want, I was a scrub. I was at least
But you're better than them.
I knew the strings, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I was God at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But to make it simple, and this is a message to everyone that is in chat. If you are lucky enough to get an offline scene not too far from you, go there at least once. Trust me, go there, and you will see that even this game that is the most criticized Tekken ever, it becomes fun for real. And trust me, it's true. Playing offline this game is completely different. One thing is that people, when plays offline, they don't play like they play online. It feels way more. It's a different vibe. And the best instance is one of the games I had. I went to the locals here, and before the tournament, I was playing against a guy. This guy's stronger than me. He said, "Oh, let's play together." And he was playing Yoshimitsu as one of his sub characters. Okay, and he was just doing the most Yoshimitsu things you can imagine. Okay, like the super troll Yoshimitsu. I didn't stop a single moment to laugh and enjoy that, which sounds crazy. But now transfer that match to a rank system.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, honestly, my advice to a lot of players. No, I'm with you. I think if you have an online scene, I will back that up. If you have an online scene, absolutely play it. But I will go a step further. I will say that, let's say you don't have an online scene, or let's say on top of the online scene, don't play ranked. I only play ranked because it's more fun for the stream. It's like a TV show, like a drama, right? Listen to me when I say this. I swear to God, if I did not have a stream, I would not play ranked. I wouldn't. Right? Is because it's the stress is not worth the squeeze. Like, it's actually not worth it. It's not helping you improve. It's not like, oh, it's helping me get ready for tournament setting. It's not, right? It doesn't help you. Like, don't play ranked and don't feel the need to play ranked, right? I understand you want to get the PNG to go up, but for me personally, I play unranked for like 90% of my game. This is true in Tekken 7 too. 90% of my game time would be playing quick match, and then every once in a while I'd be like, all right, let me try my luck in ranked. Let me play 5 games of ranked. Let me see what's up. And then even when I stream now, I'll play ranked for literally 40 minutes maximum. And I go, okay, lobby time, right? Which leads me on to my second point. I think it's a lot of fun if you are going to play online it is fun to join some sort of community, join a Discord, or just make friends and play against actual people. Because let me tell you something, it is so much more fun losing to people whose names you know, who can make fun of you, and you can make fun of them, and you can call them a cheap fucker for using gimmicky shit. But you can have a personal relationship. It's way more fun losing in that situation than to randomers online, right? Lobbies are where it's at, because then when someone beats you, you can be like, okay, how did this person beat me? What happened? What did I lose to? You can take the replay, and then next time, next week, whenever you next play, you can play them again. Like it's the best. And having long sets against people who are like a stage better than you, so you can get your game up to their level, and like playing like 20 minutes against one person who's a stage higher than you, just doing whatever it takes to get to that level. It's so much more useful than fighting 25 randomers, right? And so again, the fact that the game doesn't facilitate this is a tragedy, and we shouldn't have to be telling you that. Like, the game should be doing a better job of giving you access to these modes and these ways of playing. And the only reason I know about them is because I had the benefit of experiencing them in Tekken 7. Like that's the real tragedy. Like it's a real shame. Even in the chat, a lot of people are being like, "Oh man, my mental health got a lot better when I fucking stopped playing the game. Like I got a lot happier when I stopped playing the game." And even streamers that I watch, so many of my streamers, I watch them so that I feel less miserable about my misery. Like I'll watch, like I'm a huge fan of Mirio, and I love watching Mirio struggle, because I'm like, he's just like me for real. Like when he's like, I want to kill myself, I'm like, you're just like me for real. Like
I don't know. I'm so glad he made it to God of Destruction. I don't know how he endured all of that. I saw some pieces on YouTube of him because it's super fun, but my God, I was suffering for him. I was in pain for him. I could see he was suffering for it. That's why it's like that's something I picked up from you, because I used to be a ranked monster that was only staying ranked, and now I have a religious routine that I try to do every time to see if I am in a good day to go on ranks. So I go in. The first thing I do is I pick a replay and I check a first of two replay. Same character, just check that, so I learn something. Then I go and I do some random punishes or anything in practice when I do some quick matches, and then I see how it goes. That's what I do. And if quick matches is not going well, and I feel it, I feel like I'm not relaxed. I'm not in that state of mind to play ranked.
Don't force it.
I'm not gonna. I'm not 100%.
100%.
Hell.
Not worth it. It's
There
not worth
is
it.
no way. There is no way. It's not.
And it's even. No, go continue, please.
And this is actually the big difference that I found between the last two sessions I did ranked, which is the one on stream and the day after. The one on stream, I didn't feel to play ranked. I played ranked because there was a bunch of people online watching. I said, you know what? I play some ranked. I really didn't want to. That's what happened. I lost.
Yeah, you lose.
Day after, I did this. I logged in. I did the first online match, and I told you I was a killing machine.
You felt good.
And and it felt way easier. So it's like, especially now ranked, it can be, and as well, even if you are in a good set, in a good session and everything, it's very quick. It takes very, very little to just spiral down.
Oh, of course. Even if I'm on a good day, I will play I want to play 5 matches against 5 humans, and then I'm done. I don't want to, because again, it's like, even this is why I don't like this sort of like, ranked is supposed to simulate a tournament setting. No, because in a tournament setting, you play one match, and then what happens? You stop playing. You rest your brain. You probably even know the person you're going to play next, right? That is the setting that Tekken is about, because if you play, you concentrate intensely on this fucking explosive game, and then you stop for a good 5. Again, it's one of the reasons why I like playing lobbies, because I play for a bit and then I stop, and I play for a bit and then I stop. I'm like, okay,
I just sit back and talk.
I can sit back, I can watch, I can talk to other people about stuff, I can see what people are doing, and not only that, I know who I'm going to play next, because I can see the order, right? It's either going to be the winner of this match, or if this guy wins twice, and they're both going to go. So I can like prepare mentally, emotionally for the bullshit I'm about to deal with for the next 2 minutes, right? And like, that is the way this game could be played. But that sense of just like ranked, Yoshimitsu, Azucena, Lily, Asuka, Jin, Kazuya, Jin, King, is that roulette. It's like, even if you started off the session at the height of your abilities, after you've had to think about the mix-ups and the options that all these characters have, by the time you get to that 4th character, your brain is just exhausted. You're just like, I just don't want to have to do this. And then if you lose that match, especially if it's like in the final round, the final mix-up due to heat, now you're angry, right? And then of course, as humans, like I always say, you see that bar, you lost 3 in a row. You won, 3,
Yep.
right? But then you lose from the 3, so then you see that minus 1,300. You're like, oh, or like I'm
the hard work you just done.
All that hard. I'm like, and then you try to motivate yourself to go back into it. And it's like, oh, it's the worst. 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 It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, ranked is, don't force yourself to play ranked. Just don't. If you have a stream and people are watching, by all means, have fun. But like in your own life, just play quick match, bro. Play quick match. Especially if you know you're at that level, right? For example, like, if let's say you've just made it to Tekken King, or let's say you made it to Tekken King the first time, the second time, okay, so now or especially the first time actually, but like, you made it to Tekken King, so you know in your heart, I'm just as likely to get demoted as promoted, okay? In that sense, just make a quick match, because the prowess matchmaker is going to match you against your caliber of player, right? But then if you keep playing, let's say you play for a month of just quick matches, right? But then you've noticed, you know what? I play quick match and I keep getting like 5 win streaks. 5 win streaks, 4 win streaks, 3 win streaks, 5 win streaks, 4 win streaks. And like, oh, maybe my actual level of Tekken skill has actually gone higher than my rank. Now, let me go back into rank. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can often prove yourself in quick match. Like, if you're noticing yourself regularly getting 6 win streaks, 5 win streaks, then it's like, okay, now it's time to get into rank. Now you can play something. But if you're streaky as hell because this is your level, then keep playing. Find out why you lost. Sometimes when you're playing quick match, I'll lose 2 matches in a row. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't even want to win right now. I just want to block this move. I just want to duck this move. So you can start playing experimentally, which is how you're supposed to play. But it's hard to do that in rank because you just want to win. It's not
right, as well because the pressure is way higher. So it's normal. It's absolutely normal that you are a bit underperforming compared to quick matches. That's something that happens because there is something at stake. That's what happens. You know, especially the pressure you get when you get to the win streak match, or when you get to the win streak match on a promotion chance on that rank that you know, and then you see the loading screen and there is, I don't know, for me it's the Nina. When I see the Nina coming,
bro. Okay, this is something else. Hold on, this is something else I want to ask you, right? So every time, okay, when you hear that, get ready for the next battle, and you see the character, right? I swear to God, I'm not joking. In Tekken 7, there'd be a couple of characters that I'd go, ugh, right? Yeah. But usually I'd be like, okay, Tekken time. Now, I swear to God, half the cast.
Yeah.
Half the cast, I see the character like, ugh, it's Asuka, Leia, Jun, King, like half the cast, bro. Feng, Xiaoyu. Actually, for me, Xiaoyu, I'm actually okay with Xiaoyu. But most people Xiaoyu, most of the cast, Kuma, Panda, Leroy, like half of the cast, bro. I'm just like, this is going to suck. Shaheen, Mina, Yoshi,
even Lee. Like, crazy enough, even Lee that didn't use to be someone like this because he was super honest. You know, he just picked 3-3 all day. You know?
Oh, Lee, so, like that's. How wild is that? Like that didn't used to be the case. Like it's honestly most of the time I see a character and I go, oh man, this sucks, bro.
But like I think that's because that's something that has always been in Tekken partially, and it's something. Okay, this is something I wanted to talk about and try to connect to this. So most of the people is saying Tekken 7 was a way better game than Tekken 8.
It was. Don't fight me on this. Don't fight me on this.
No. Which it was. I'm still saying this game has the potential to be great. Tekken 7 is gonna be, at the moment, this recording is a way better game. But at the same time, something that I've been trying to say for a lot of time is that the memory that everyone that is having of Tekken 7 is the memory of a well-developed and finished game.
Yes. 2 years. The game had been out in the arcade for 2 years before we got it on console.
Exactly. Remember that. You see, like I saw a video the other day of who is the guy? I don't remember. I think he's a Pakistani pro, and it's just like the broken moves on vanilla Tekken 7. Okay.
I heard that in vanilla Tekken 7, Brian Hatchet Kick launched. That's what I'm saying.
Brian Hatchet Kick launched on vanilla.
That's what I heard. Bring it back.
Paul would death combo you with 3 death fists at the wall.
Yeah.
3. No, guys, I'm not joking when I say 3. Yeah. Death fist was insane. Steve Rayjard was like 50% damage.
Yeah. She was crazy.
You couldn't tech the Lily combo, wall combo, the one when she was doing the vertical and then just rolling over you right to the floor. You couldn't tech roll that, and at the
No,
time
you had to eat the whole damage.
break.
Yeah.
So basically, you will take 90% damage of just going through 4 floors.
Yeah, bring that back, bro. Bring that back. That's sick.
No, the best one for me, because I didn't remember all of those. Gian, what did Gian have? Downback 4 was country launcher, but he had something else as well. He had another country launcher, which was stupid. But the best one, in my opinion, was Claudio, which was no one remembers it. But Claudio back 1 was COUNTERHIT launcher.
as if it wasn't good enough.
Like it wasn't a good movie, good enough.
Oh,
like that's the most Tekken 8 thing that there was.
I'm surprised it's not a counter-hit launcher. I'm surprised it's not a Tekken 8.
But all this to say, okay, so it's clear that for some God knows which reason, the game is never balanced for the first year and is very far away from its golden age. But like if someone compare this version of the game, this time Tekken 8 with the last season of Tekken 7, with the even a mid-season of Tekken 7, it's like, yeah, you're comparing a game that had at the end very little testing to what was the community testing that Tekken 7 had.
Yeah.
Then you can do another conversation of you shouldn't be implementing the patches in this way, and I kind of agree.
Exactly.
Because that's another thing you can talk about.
Exactly.
Like I it's very nice that you set a kind of calendar for the patches. You want to do a big one and then many small patches to adjust. Yes, but in my opinion, up to 3 months from the big finals of your own tournament, you should still be able to do not as big as 1.05, but major patches.
But here's the thing. Obviously, I know you're not defending it, but I already know what some of the comments are going to be in the YouTube videos, right? And I agree with those comments. I want to say them ahead of time, right? It's one thing for you to break a busted game in the arcade scene where I only have to pay $1 to play or $2 to play, and I can play as much or as little as I want. It's another thing when you charge $70, right? Or however much you charge, right? And so it makes sense that historically the Tekken community has always been like, yeah, the first year is always shitty, but the first year has always been shitty, and you could play as much or as little as you want. A $70 product should be solid. Like it should be solid, right? And I know you already feel that, but I just want to, we already know that comment's going to be like, it's no excuse, and neither of us are saying it's an excuse, right? So I just want to preempt that. But I also want to say, and this is probably a bigger conversation than the one we're kind of having, so maybe save it for next time. But like, Tekken 7 was to date the most successful second game that's ever been released, ever. People did not think that Tekken 3 would ever be surpassed, right? And it was. And so it seems.
We'll have one little thing to add to that.
Sure.
But go ahead.
But it seems wild to me then that they felt the need to, rather than essentially release Tekken 7 with updated graphics and like with slight modifications, that they felt the need that there had to be a revolution. It seems to me that a revolution is what you do when a game fails. But like they've done this. I remember we mentioned this last time. Like Tekken 3 was the most successful game they ever made, and then they made Tekken 4. They're like, fuck it, throw it in the bin, new type of game, and it flopped, right? But it was bold, but it flopped, right? And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you after the huge success take a wild depart? On one hand, you could be like, that's very brave and bold of you. Why would you do that, right? And especially given how badly Tekken Tag did, and Tekken 7 rejuvenized the franchise, brought in a whole new generation of people, multiple generations of people, turned many Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Smash players in Tekken players, right? It was huge, and for a very long time too. And then to be like, okay, fuck it, throw it in the bin, new thing, heat, all this stuff, that seems like a bold choice, which only further makes the sort of incomplete state that it feels like it's in all the more egregious. And I don't know, I guess I'm just complaining because obviously we can't undo it, we can't unwind it, but I'm curious to know as to why they felt the need, because it almost seems as if they were ashamed of Tekken 7. Like, when you look at Tekken 8, it's as if they were ashamed of Tekken 7, or like Tekken 7 needed to be fixed, needed to be like, not just like tweaks to it, which I think we all would agree, like they needed to be tweaks, but like, no, not just tweaks. The whole thing was trash. We're going to start over. And I'm like, why? Like that just seems wild to me.
So I think it's because, I don't know. So Tekken 7 is, it was such a, how to say, it was such a desperate product, if you think about it, on the way of, that game could have potentially never be out.
Sure.
Akuma was in the game because Tekken 7 was the skeleton to Tekken X Street Fighter. That's why Akuma was in that. That's why it's been incorporated. The game budget, we all know there was, like for the success that you do, like it's even prizes its success even more because it shows you how at the end it's not budget, it's gameplay and ideas, mechanics that brings you such success. 100%. Because the game, when you were playing it after 2 years, it looked old for the timings.
I love it. Like, yeah, you're right.
No, like all of these, and I think they wanted, like this time, because they had the opposite scenario. They were their hard face down, and it's like, we are gonna go all in. And unfortunately, when you go all in, it's a bit difficult because
they should never have given these people money. They should have given them a tiny budget.
Yeah, they were cooking way better with a tenth of the budget.
So no, and that's what it seems like.
You see way better graphics and everything, and then I think they ended up in this philosophy of more.
Yeah.
And you got what you got. Plus, I think as well that like if I think like I am creating my games and my franchise is very old and everything, I want my franchise to keep on going in the years. You need to try to bring pressure into the franchise, and they saw how Geese Hours worked very well. As a concept, as a character, he was super successful with his console and everything because the hit system is his hours. It is. It's like you cancel into a dash.
Oh my god! I've not even, bro. You are the first person who's actually said that. I had not thought about that at all.
With the difference,
it is the cancel. Yeah.
It is. But the difference is that in that game, that you remember Geese Hours, like the strong Geese Hours, what they used to do, they go into super, but they cannot do their super combo. Because at the end, that's what you're getting. They would jump into buffed fireball because they didn't want that system. They didn't need the announcer anymore because it would have not been as advantageous anyway because you just block everything and defend from it. So there was counterplay to the buffed Geese Hours that, again, and you go back to the mental stacks. So his system is buffed up Geese Hours. They don't need to charge the bar. So I don't know why they did it. We cannot know why they did it. I think because you need to.
I want them to do a documentary. Like, hey, look, this is why we did it. This is why we did it.
I think they're very well aware that the game needs to be toned down. Like I always been saying, if there is one thing that the Tekken team knows how to do, is a well done fighting game. And we all see this in the years. They are basically a car that is going with 2 wheels, and they add the rest throughout the years, and it gets to a very nice point. Then they tilt it back, and then it goes back.
I guess, but I think I agree with you. And this is my first time. Obviously, Tekken 7 was my first game, so this is my first time jumping over into a new franchise, which is why a part of me is like, maybe it's just a case of typical. Oh, the old game was better. Like that's kind of human nature, right? But a part of the reason why I'm worried and why this podcast, for example, is called what it's called, right? The current state of Tekken 8. Why we're discussing season 2 is because, in some sense, like you just said, we are all, the only reason we are still here is because we have faith in what the game can be, right? That's the only reason we're still here. Let's be honest. And I'm worried because, like we said with Silent Entry 3 or whatever, a lot of what we don't like is intentional. Right, a lot of the hyper aggression, the forced sensitivities are intentional. You can see that in the DLC characters. You can see that in the choices that they made, and even in the patches. Oftentimes, yes, they're toning stuff down and they're moving it away, but each of these patches almost seems to be moving them further and further away from their original vision, right? And so, a part of me is concerned about, okay, they're going to have a come to Jesus moment when it comes to season 2. They're either going to be like, are we going to scrap the old vision? Or are we going to try and make this work to the old vision? Because they can't have both, right? Let's say they announce season 2. Okay, we've decided to move away from aggression, or we've overcompensated for aggression, and we're scaling way back, right? That's hard to sell in the trailer, right? Typically, you can sell more stuff, additions, right? How do you sell? We're subtracting this. We're subtracting this. Like that's hard to sell unless you're already in, right? That works for us who are already in, but that's hard to sell to a casual.
Well, the point is, especially now when you're gonna announce season 2, casuals are not there. Honestly, the how to sell to a casual, I could talk for how to sell this game to casual and keep casual engaged for 10,000 hours, because I don't know what is Street Fighter 6, but when I see 24,000 players online, I cannot believe that they're all playing that they're all blue ranks, like Tekken level blue ranks that play only ranked. I cannot. That's not how it is. There's somehow Street Fighter manages to keep the green ranks playing that game.
Me and you, at some point, I need to walk you through Street Fighter 6, because if I listen to me, if you play Street Fighter 6, you will be depressed. That game is so well made. That game is so well made. It is incredible. The story mode that they have, the sort of like exploring the city, like it's like exploring the city, making your own custom character with your own custom moves, party mode type matches. Like, for example, okay, think of it this way, right? You remember in Tekken 7 where you would have treasure battle, right? And then sometimes you'd have modes where you only did damage when the opponent was in the air. Right, so like ground hits didn't do anything. Only combo damage worked, right? Or double damage. They had Street Fighter 6 has these party modes. So when you're playing with your friends who are casual, you can just play the party modes. Like there's one mode where a bull randomly just runs across the screen. So you're fighting, and then every once in a while the screen will flash. So almost like Smash Brothers. You have to jump up, right? So there's so many different ways to play the game.
And that's something I really wanted to quickly say. So this was something that reminds me a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 and what they're doing there, which was more offline, but Street Fighter 6 is apparently doing it online. And this is always what Tekken been lacking, because what like a casual player would enjoy way more playing these kind of things, but even I would enjoy they just grind online. Because anyway, if you are on the lower part of the ranks, you will not play much rank because you will mostly lose, and that usually you don't play a game that you usually lose. That's just the state of things. Tekken does not have this. Tekken does not, like, you have a fight lounge that could be so much well used for this kind of modes, for this kind of things. It has so much wasted potential. And then go to tie all of this to the mission of your fight pass.
Your crew, your team, yeah.
And because I never read the mission of the fight pass, and guess what? I'm maxing it. Why? Because I just play online and I win matches. That's it. And it's boring. It's pointless. The fight lounge. What's the fight lounge? It's 2 living rooms, 3 living rooms, where the only unique things you have are Tekken Ball Online that you rarely play, the practice mode for 2, which could be better again, but at least it's there. I'm not going to complain. At least it's there. And the group matches, which again, all of these things, are part of the practice and the ball.
Jan. Why the fuck do they have a lobby, and even in the lobby, I have to play first to 2? Why? Bro, it's meant to be like an arcade cabinet. Shouldn't we just keep playing until we get... Why?
You can put the gauntlet.
No, in order to do a gauntlet, you have to create a lobby.
Matches in the.
No. If I sit down opposite you, it'll randomly assign us. We'll play a first to 2, and then it'll kick us both out to the lobby before making us play again. Bro.
I don't know. Why? Sorry.
This is what I'm saying. Look, okay, I just don't like they made this thing to simulate being in an arcade type situation. So surely I sit down. Oh, this guy's called the Gian. Cool. We play a game. This was fun. If I enjoyed it, I'll play again. If I didn't, I'll get up and leave. It should be infinite rematch by default. By default.
Rematch, change stage, change character. That's what.
Sure. But like. The fact that it's not like that, you know what game does do that? Fucking Street Fighter 6, because of course it does, because that's how you're supposed to do it. I just can't. And you know, while we're at it, okay, look, I don't want to be too salty, but I've said this before. This is the one that makes me, okay, as a fellow fan of data, I know you'll appreciate this. Why does Tekken show me my win rate on specific stages, but it doesn't show me my win rate against Devil Jin?
Oh, I never.
Why is it that I can go on it and be like, oh, your win rate on whatever this stage is in the Coliseum stage is 32%, 50%, 60%, whatever. Okay, so they know that win rate is a thing that people care about. But I can't just click on a button and be like, what is your win rate against Brian?
They used to do it in Tekken 7.
It used to be in any fighting game made in this decade. But in Tekken 8, I have to go on a different website. I have to go on like fucking Wavelwank on like some other third-party website. It's crazy. Who made this game? Why would you do that?
It's like I don't understand this kind of things. It's like you have very poor decision making. I saw someone, Shin Pete. They say it seems like bad programming. No, this is not bad programming. This is bad design and bad decision making. That's different. This is not bad programming. This is just bad decision making.
Yeah, it's not. No. The programming team are wizards. I have nothing but respect for them, even with the bugs that come up.
The game is.
I agree.
You know, you don't have that many features. You don't have that many things. You had some of these, but you obviously had some of the release.
Yes.
Again, with so many different iterations. But the game is rock solid. Tekken, like, if there is something you can never ever say to a Tekken release, is that the game is not rock solid. Like Tekken 70 released on PS, and it was a block of granite 60 frames per second, and it's always like that. They know what they're doing at that time. But their decision making is always
some of their choices, I'm like, why would you? Again, listen, right? If they didn't have, it would be worse. If they didn't have the win rate for stages, I wouldn't be so angry.
Yeah, but why?
It's the fact that they thought to include win rate on stages, but not characters. I'm like, there's no way. Why? Why? Anyway. That's my. I mean, there's lots of small things like that just get on my nerves.
There are a lot of things like I don't know. Now you're gonna shout again, and please do. Why there is not a tournament mode?
Okay. Don't. Why is there no tournament mode in a game that you knew that you wouldn't have tournaments in your first year?
And other little things, like to go back to Fight Lounge is not used. Okay, we saw a little glimpse of what the Fight Lounge could be. Like with their way to apologize, they gave us basically the story DLC customization items.
You have to go fight the guy.
You have to fight with Arada, and you have to go fight with Ehachi. Okay, all these kind of little events. Again, good iteration, evolving temporary things. It's really a gotcha game strategy. But it works. You keep the casual in. Okay, that's how you do it. Go online, go into the event, win this match against another player. You have a player match, which is a special scenario where, like, the punches, the normal jab makes you explode and launches your way. Something very dumb. Okay, and it gives you point, and then it gives you into the fight pass. That's how you hook the casual part. Because I don't care about the things. I would not care. But the casuals are more interesting to these things.
No, of course.
I've survived, like, the Tekken Story DLC. Okay, the shit demo that was the Tekken Story DLC. The Eddie part, which is that stuff is bad, but the Eddie part is even worse. The Eddie part is
I not to interrupt, but I literally started playing when Steam went down last night. I started playing story mode, and I got to the Eddie part where he kicks a robot holding missiles and just like walks it off, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going further. I'm done.
But do you see him? How do you say? I think it's that part. When he tames the flames with the
flame, he just spins around to put the flame. Like, this is dumb. I'm done. I'm done with this game, bro. I'm done with it.
And then it does something where he wants to look serious. You don't understand if he wants to look dumb, be a comedy relief, or he wants to look serious because it doesn't look any of the two. But anyway, in that mode, it shows us something nice, where you are Eddie, you fight the crow, and then you fight the crow, and the
Tekken Forces,
and then you fight the Jag all back to back, you know?
Yes.
That would be as well. That would be a nice, interesting revisited of the survival mode, thanks to the new SSD that you have now. Sure. You don't need loading screen. And again, put this kind of mode as not as something that you play every time, but put that and put a special reward with that. You change every month, you know, into the fight round, and you have event. Okay, the team battle, why is it not in the game? Fucking hell, that would be the part.
Okay, so here's the thing about team battle. I've had this discussion with people since fucking Soul Calibur. I think Team Battle, they shouldn't put it in the game. And I'll tell you why. Everyone will play Team Battle once, and then they'll never play again, right? But, I think the spirit of Team Battle should be in the game. What I mean by that is, obviously, you see that I stream, I have like we have Hopkick City, that's our dojo. I should be able to make a dojo. Any player who wants to be part of the team could be part of the dojo, and we should be able to be like, okay, my dojo against your dojo. And basically, right, And basically, we don't have to fight against each other. It's who can get the most points. Who get the most points in rank generally, right? Over the week. So let's say it's Monday, my dojo against your dojo. If by Sunday, my team gets the more points than you, we win. Everyone gets a certain amount of, I don't know, Tekken coins or whatever. Maybe not the premium coins, but you see what I'm saying? Some sort of incentive thing. They're based on the amount of contribution. So that it doesn't, so that me at, Tekken God Supreme can team up with someone who's Gembu, team up with someone who's Fujin, team up with people, and we can be like, no, but we're all helping each other. We're all part of the Hopkick City Dojo. This is it, right? And we're going to, fostering community is like key, and then I would have a reason. I mean, I already do because I'm a decent person, but I would have a reason to help the player who's lower than rank than me get better because you're helping the team, you're helping the dojo. I need everyone in my dojo to be a killer.
Implement a chat with that as well. Implement the vocal chat with that, so you can actually play together. Because anyway, it's not a rank system, it's not a serious scenario, so you can have a chat. Still,
absolutely, like we're on the same team, man.
Again, more things to do in the fight lounge.
Oh my god! And I just realized. Sorry, just on top of the dojo mode. Imagine, you're playing. We're in the Hopkick City Dojo, right? And then you're playing ranked. And then not only does the person come up in the ranked, but it also says, "Oh, this is a person from the enemy dojo." So it's like double points. It's like double jeopardy. This is a person in the. So if you win, you get like double the points or whatever. Like just to add layers of it, it would be so crazy, bro. Like it was like these are the things you could do. It was
so much. I don't understand why they will not try to do what at the end I think I understood from people telling me Street Fighter does better, which is a more all-round video game in all these compartments.
Yeah, they realize it. Yeah, 100%. It's better at it has more casual stuff, but it has a better casual to pro pipeline. Maybe not to pro, but it has a great pipeline of like, hey, here's how you can go from being an absolute scrub to getting better. The replay fee, like again, we're naming a bunch of small things. Now now we're really getting into what was in season 2. I couldn't believe when I played Tekken 8 that you couldn't watch your replays in slow motion. I can't believe that. I
never thought about that, but yeah,
in Tekken, listen, in Street Fighter 6, listen to me. If you play Street Fighter 6, you're gonna be so angry, right? Because Street Fighter 6, not only can you play it in slow motion, I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating, you can press frame by frame.
You have a pro player, basically.
So you can just go frame, and notice the exact moment you fucked up. The exact second that Brian counter hit you, you'd be like, it was there. That you got like frame by frame. Bro, I'm telling you. So to go from that in Street Fighter 6 and then come to Street Fighter or Tekken, where if I want to go back, I have to go to a set points in the replay. So I often have to skip back further than I want to. It's like, bro, how do we not know how replay functions should work? It just seems crazy. And again, I get it. Development is hard. I understand that. Like, but many of these things are the stuff that I really need nailed down. Like, and also, again, another thing with Street Fighter, I'm sorry. I'm telling you, play Street Fighter, you're going to be angry. This is one of my favorite features. It's underrated. No one talks about this. Okay, let's say I'm trying to lab against Zangief. Okay, so I fight against Zangief, and I said a bunch of things. So when I knock him down, I want him to wake up jab, and when I want him to jump, I said all this stuff, right? Then I leave and I go to Chun-Li. I make her do other things. I make her do other things, right?
I know. Yes, I agree.
Come back to Zangief. It has all the settings from what I did last time I fought Zangief. I don't have to reset it. And even if I turn the game off, when I turn the game on, it remembers everything. Think about how much you have to lab in this game, bro. How much you have to lab. How many characters there are in this game. If you could save state, so every time I go up against Lily, it does the 6 moves I'm trying to lab against Lily. Every time I go against Law, it does the 7 moves I'm trying to learn. Bro, when you play Street Fighter 6, bro, when you play Street Fighter 6 and you come back Tekken, you get angry. You get angry, bro. You get angry.
It wasn't said because as well, like what it was trying to do, is when you have to record the moves, when you set up your moves, you set up your punishment training basically, and you record the moves of a character that you don't play.
Yes.
You spend 15 minutes.
Yes, trying to make it happen. Yes, exactly.
When you're a trash player like me, you're doing Heihachi, and you
I'm with you. I'm the same.
An electric on the right side because you cannot just select it because
you gotta do it on the other side. No, it's a sequence. Yes.
Or you need to do the electric. Yes. So you spend 5 minutes. Okay, I'm exaggerating. It's not that dramatic.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it takes ages, multiple attempts. Record, no, do it again. Record, no, do it again. Record, no, do it again. Yeah, exactly.
That thing, and then it pops out. You didn't press record.
Oh, yeah.
So you do a match. You change something, and then you basically have to re-record the full drill because you change character or anything, or you
change character, yeah.
And that's something that should not be there. Or at least you should have the option just to be select basically a block after every option, and you just select.
Yes. But even still, like that again. You play Street Fighter and you come Tekken, you get
but
like, it has that.
That's when I see. Like,
it's so crazy.
Don't get me wrong. I think the replay feature it's good. Like compared to Street Fighter, it's just okay. It's not good. It's okay. It could be way better. But that's the thing with this game. Is always ends up to it can be better. It can be better. You never see. Of course.
But this is what. But the thing is, Tekken demands so much from you learning-wise that it should have the best learning suite in the game. Like, it should be the other way around. If Street Fighter didn't have this, Tekken had it, you'd be like, yeah, fair enough, because they need it in Tekken. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, like, it's why it's the other way around. And then another thing, right? Another feature. This is, now I'm just spitballing. This doesn't need to be in Season 2, but it's something that I would love. I would love for there to be Mokujin, right? In Mokujin mode, where I can make Mokujin do, let's say, different moves from different characters. So, let's say, Jin's down 3+4, I don't know, Paul's Death Fist, Lily's, let's say down forward three into whatever, and then the Mokujin, the one character, can just cycle through all of these different animations, so that I can practice in one training screen. Okay, when I block this, do this. When I block this, do this. Instead of doing it for each individual character. Now I understand Mokujin's body size will be different, so it won't be perfect, right? But it would be great if I can just think these are the 12 moves in the game that cause me the most trouble. So I don't feel like playing Tekken today, but I do just want to keep my muscle memory great. I'm going to have Mokujin just run through the 12 moves in Tekken 8 in general that cause me the most trouble, and just teach myself, or just throw breaks in general. Just, generic one word, 2 break, 1+2, right? Like, that would be really great. And again, that's speculative. Now I'm asking for more than actually in the game, but
I see that maybe Season 3, honestly.
Maybe Season 3. But these are the tools. But to bring it all the way back to what we're saying, these are the kind of tools that keep players playing, right? Because Tekken 8 is always going to have people playing day one. Mortal Kombat's always going to have people playing day one. The issue isn't getting them through the door. The issue is getting them to keep playing second month, third month, and go from being a scrub who beats their friends in the living room to being a real online warrior, and maybe even to a world warrior at some point, right? And these are tools. It's not about making the game easier. It's not. Right, because I feel like Tekken 8 has proven that that's not really the issue, right? It's not about having ridiculous offense. It's about making sure that if and when I lose, the tools to help me get better and to help me understand why I lost are there. That's the key, because the losses are going to happen. You need to make the losing process better. Like, you need to make that's the key.
That's true. If you combine these with the fact that sometimes you lose just because couldn't really do much. It's like,
exactly. It's like, I had to hold I had to hold 5 mixes. I was right on 4 of them, but I got wrong on the 5th, so I died. Well, fuck me, I guess. Like,
no, that's absolutely true. And it's like, consider. I think as well for fighting games, for franchises like Tekken, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat as well, even if it's worse scenario than Tekken. I would really like to know why, because I didn't look into that much. But it's not difficult to get player in when they release. It's not, and we all see that.
It's easy.
It's not difficult because first they are very great production. Usually they look stunning.
Yes.
All the 3 of them, they look stunning. And second of all, it's like
nostalgia as well.
It's nostalgia. It's just the massive aura that, like, a friend of mine, he doesn't know anything about Tekken, but like he never had Tekken 3. He knows Kazuya. He sees Kazuya and it's like, oh, he's bad.
It's my boy. Yeah, it's my boy. Yeah, exactly. We're all like that. Yeah.
Like, and that's why, like, a friend of mine bought Tekken. He's combatant. He bought Tekken 8 and he played it for a bit. But then the real challenge is having the tools to keep these people into the circle. Not as their main, like, no one needs to be like us. No one needs to play mainly Tekken, which I'm not even now. I play Tekken once a week, but it's not that everyone needs to be every single one that plays Tekken or a fighting game needs to be a 400-hour Tekken player, fighting game player in the first year. But having the game that's my online relief. That's like,
I get that.
Log in. And again, how do you do this? Give them reason. Give like an easy task. Even if they're online, just do more than just plug and play. Because what Tekken 8 did is like, we have different modes now. We have the arcade quest, we have the story mode, we have the character episodes. Let's be real. The story mode, it's very well animated, it's great. I don't like the story, it's a bit too much. It's nice, it's a bit too much. I like more the realization of this one because the pace is way better in this one.
Sure.
I liked way more the dramatic ending you get into Tekken 7.
Yes. Oh, the ending of 7. Oh, bro, the ending of 7, bro. Forget the end. Okay, forget the ending. When Akuma walks up on Heihachi Mishima in the dojo, I'm like, bro.
It's like it's like Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart, the Tekken 7 one.
It's so crazy.
It's like, and then there is the journalist is down, but then when there is Akuma going in, it's like,
why have you only shown up now? I wanted you to get stronger. What do you mean you wanted Heihachi Mishima to get stronger? Oh, she was so good. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I did a video, a lot of videos. I rewatched all the about Heihachi before he released. So I watched all the ending, the final cutscene of Heihachi and Kazuya. Oh, that stuff is so good. Then the part with the journalist is the most boring stuff that there is because they didn't have budget.
Yeah, it's pretty wide.
So in Tekken 8, they come in and they say, we flush
no journalists.
We have budget, we have money. And with the story mode that it is, that animation-wise is great and some of the moments are great, but then for my taste, it's a bit too much.
As someone who hates Jin, who is a certified Jin hater, I hate the story. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way everyone's like, I forgive you, Jin. I forgive you for starting World War III. I forgive you for your genocide. You feel bad now, so it's okay. Fuck you. No one punched Jin in the mouth. That's why I'm upset. 0 out of 10. No one punched. I just needed 2 people to punch him in the mouth and would have been good. 2 people. That's what I needed. Just 2 people. You know what? You know the reason why I don't play Leo anymore? Real talk. Is because when Leo walked in the story mode and he's like, I forgive you, Jin, fucking holds this motherfucker's hand. I'm like, I'm done with Leo. I'm done with Leo. I'm done. I'm playing Feng now. We're villains now. Fuck this shit.
Feng doesn't look for forgiveness.
Feng doesn't need forgiveness.
Did you see what was I think is Moonsault Slayer, one of the last videos? Just press X to forget yourself.
Exactly. I just can't press X to forgive genocide. Like, no.
That's the point. It's like, it's so dumb. Then Angel Jin, it's arguably like design wise, I don't like him. So they could have done it a bit better, just more simple. Go with this over the top visual. But that's at the end of the day.
Yeah, some people love this. Some people like it. It's fine. Yeah.
Because it's a good death story mode. How it's packed, the level of animation, the length that he has, the fact that you have the Tekken Force modes in between and everything.
Sure.
It works, yes. Then what you have? The arcade quest. Again, another mode that you do once and it finishes, which is great to introduce players into the game. It's a great addition to a game. A mode that you do once and it's over, like the story mode. Then you have the character episodes, and here is when I start to get very, 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 very critical. Because unfortunately, every character that is not in the story mode now is not comic relief.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no more. It's like, do you remember the Tekken 4 story modes? The 5?
The voice. Yeah.
It's like even just the topic of the stories.
Yeah,
like,
no, I know what you mean. Everyone had a plot. I understand. I'm with you.
Everyone had a little bit of plot and was always advancing, even if it was a comic. There were the comics.
I'm with you.
But like King Armor, King and Marduk.
Yeah.
Like that stuff.
Yeah. Julia trying to avenge Michelle and all that. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
It's a lot behind, and it's all left behind, obviously, where I would have way more enjoyed a less deep story mode, still a story mode, but a bit shorter, and save $1 million to do the appropriate character episodes. Because I never played them. I never played them because I played Brian, and so it was basically Benmax. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you. No, same. I've played a couple of them, mostly just for making videos for the YouTube channel. But yeah, I don't enjoy any of them. But there's someone's made a bunch of people made actually comments here that I actually want to bring up, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Can we go back to Arcade Quest? Okay. I think Arcade Quest was a great idea. I think Arcade Quest is more important than story mode by far. This idea of this mode of like, here are the fundamentals of Tekken. Here we're gonna get good. I wish they did more. And I would go so far as to say that I wish there was Arcade Quest. This is Arcade Quest, how you beat Paul. Here is an arcade quest, how you beat Horang. Like, I wish that there was, or the other way, here's how you play the character. I would have liked an arcade quest to be like, hey, Horang is a rushdown character whose goal is to put their opponents in stressful situations, right? This is what the character's good at, this is what the character's bad at. Let's look at a few moves that exemplify what this character is about. If they, you know what game does that? Street Fighter. If every character in the game literally just had like a, hey, we're gonna talk to you about this character. This is what the character is meant to do. And again, the frame data might change or whatever, and I understand that it doesn't have to be updated, right? You can even say ahead of time, hey, after patch whatever, some of the frame data on this might change, right? But it's on the strategic level. Here is what this character is meant to do, and here's why you would play this character over this character. That's what Arcade Quest was for, I feel like to really get you into that nitty gritty. Because again, it's about turning scrubs into intermediates, and then obviously, you can't really help intermediates become advanced. They have to do that on their own, right? Your goal is to get them from scrubs to intermediate, and then after that, it's fucking FDX videos, it's YouTube tutorials, it's joining lobbies or whatever, right? But like that transition, I do think that Arcade Quest could have really helped bridge that gap a lot more. And that's a good step, right? It's a good first step. But at the end of the day, it really only teaches you super generic basics, but it doesn't even really get you to the intermediate level. It's literally stuff that you probably could have really learned on your own, but it gets you there a bit quicker. But it's like, hey, this is what Brian does. This is why you play Brian. Okay, this is what the Brian does well. This is what he does poorly, right? And like here, we're gonna go through some that. Tekken has to teach you. It doesn't have to hold your hand. It just teach you. It doesn't have to make the game. It doesn't have to make the game easier. It just has to teach you. Like, imagine if instead of DSS being easier, there was like DSS exercises built into the game, like to show you how far off you are. Like that's the direction they should have gone in, right? Here's why your electrics are off. Your electric is off because your down input was too slow. Your input, like, help me get to the level.
More clear stuff specific for character that will work. I mean, for me, the first thing that pops in my mind is like tone trainings for Brian.
Yeah, tone training. Exactly, tone training. You're off by this frame. You're off by this. And also, do you remember in old Tekken game? I don't know if they still do it, but when the game, the computer performs the move, and you hear that, like the sort of the Mokujin.
That's the Mokujin sound, the booting sound.
Yeah, the Mokujin sound effects. They should keep that because that helps you learn the rhythm of stuff, right? And so, they should amplify that. Like,
that's actually something very nice you brought up.
That stuff would be so because there are lots of advanced layout stuff, and I'm like, I wish I had a sound cue so I could hear because if I know what it sounds like correctly, then when I press the button that it sounds off, I know why I'm off. Like, why the game doesn't have a built-in sound cue system is crazy, especially given how Tekken has famously used sound cues because of the Mokujin. Like, why am I saying this? They should know this.
Why
anyway, we're going around in circles. But there's so much. There's so much.
Guys, now there is no structure anymore. Now it's just.
They were just bitching.
We are just letting it go now. There's absolutely no structure anymore now. Now we're just. This is kind of. But that's the point. It's like, why not all of this stuff? Because, like, to be completely clear now, like, yes, implementing all of this stuff on top of what there is already in the game, it would be a lot. But why, like, some of these things that we brought up, especially the first ones, okay, it's like it's a big question why they are not already in the game, why the game is set up like this. Because at the end of the game today, some of these things are just setups, like literally in mode setups. Especially if you go back at the group matches into the like, that's just mode setups. Is no big changes. It's not like this one we were saying why there is not specific training tools for specific character. That would be great. They could have done it. They should have done it. But that would be, honestly, big amount of works as well that you need to do. But it's possible to implement that in the future. But it's like some of the things that are missing in this game are just insane. But at the end of the day, it all rounds up in, what do you think they're gonna change into Tekken in season 2?
What do I think? This is a okay. This is a great. Let's end it. Last 15 minutes. Let's end it with what do we think they're going to change? Okay. I think they will change. I think they realize that every time they balance the game in terms of nerfing characters, the game is more enjoyed. So I do think they've heard us, and I do think that they will tone down the characters that need to be toned down. I genuinely, I am confident that the game will be far more balanced in season 2 than it is currently. And I think they know the characters who need to be addressed. I think that they know about Yoshi, they know about Fang, they know about Jin, they know about it. That's not the issue. The game will be far more balanced, okay? But the broader stuff, the stuff that we've been talking about in the past, in the last hour of training mode improvements, replay improvements, I don't think they will change that much. I think it's mostly going to... this is Tekken 8, and it's going to be balanced. It is going to be balanced, that's it. The only real coin flip is how radical will they be in their adjusting of heat? Like, that's the only real question. Balance is going to happen. That's 100% going to happen. Will they make heat once per round? Once per game? I think unlikely. I think for pride reasons, they've committed to heat. They'll live by the heat system. They'll die by the heat system. But so yeah, I think for me, it's balance changes will come, and we will be happy with them. Heat changes will over time become healthier, but whether that will be on launch season 2, I don't know. I think heat might still be a problem by the start of heat season 2. That's where my hunch is from everything I've seen so far. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I think roughly I agree with you. It's like I'm expecting a big trailer after like Shibuya finals where they're gonna say season 2 is here. Yeah. We listen to you, something like this. Like that kind of things. Right? I honestly think something like that is gonna come, and there's gonna be obviously a massive amount of changes. I think balancing is gonna be like the patch that is gonna release on season 2 is gonna be basically something like Lord of the Rings or the full Harry Potter.
So massive. Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be like something that
I can't wait.
I usually don't do balance patch videos.
I will be doing it, absolutely. I'm doing live reactions.
Yeah, that's something like I might do it this time, but because as well, it's like I can do it on brand, but like you really need to when it becomes that big.
Yes.
That big is like you really need to know every single character. But
for sure.
I see a lot of changes coming. I see heat changes potentially, but not as radical as we were saying at the beginning. Basically, I kind of agree with what you said. What I see, like for instance, I see potentially them saying, okay, it dashes move are no more launchers, and the frames on it dashes move change. I don't see like heat being something like once per game or twice a game. I don't see that coming. That would be too much against anyway what's their philosophy into the game. And I kind of at the end of the day, it's part of him respects that, because at the end of the game, if you want to have credibility as a game designer and everything, you cannot just do what the audience does, because we are not game designers. And if every time we say something, which they will change it will not work. Some things they absolutely make sense that the people says them, they get changed because it's clear. Like QCF4 is a problem, it's clear. But other running 3-2 was a problem, and that was clear. But other changes is like I think they can still live by the philosophy they want to keep us with the heat in every round. It's still achievable. They just have to find a way to achieve that. And I believe that as well. If they would just say, okay, we do as you want it would just create a precedent to, you don't make the game you want to make, you just make the game that the people shout to you to make. And it's never going to be good on a marketing perspective for the whole gaming industry to make something like this. Just so or into mid-game patches. That's not.
Emilio made a really good point in the chat, and he basically said that okay, what if they changed heat engages into it, again? We're not saying that, I don't think they will, and I don't think Emilio thinks they will. But let us. I actually want to present two possibilities. Okay, let us say. By the way, the second one is going to be crazy. It's never going to happen. But I want to hear your thoughts, just as a game designer, as an armchair game designer like me. But the first one, let's say they made it so that all heat engagers were not heat engagers. Heat engaging is the same, but let's say heat dashes were now neutral. They were no longer plus. They no longer got you plus points. They had that pushback effect. Maybe if you're back to the board, but across the board, they were just neutral.
No.
Do you think the game? They're not going to do that. But if they did do that, do you think the game would be in a better state or a worse state or the same state? That's question one from your perspective. That's it, and I give you the second one afterwards. But continue.
I think that having them on neutral will make them lose just directly the scope that they have in the game. I cannot recall the word. The reason why they're in the game.
Yeah.
So the game is give you a tool that gives you the extra point of pressure. So no, I think if you put them in neutral, they will lose their strong to be a very strong move, a god move. But it's a god move that you get access after a resource. So I think they should not be zero neutral on block. At least some of them should not.
That's right. No, I hear that.
They should not be +5. They should be in the +4 range.
+4
because we all know it's a big difference.
Yeah. And actually, that also go on.
They should give you that extra chance to get away, because otherwise you dash someone at the wall, and then when he's almost dead, and you're gonna kill him. Eventually, you're just gonna down for one.
Yeah. Can I tell you something that I'm about? Okay. So I've been playing Fang for the past couple of weeks, a month or so. There's one thing that Fang has that I love more than anything in this entire game. You know when you activate heat and your opponent blocks it, and like I think you're like plus what, like plus
you're
one,
plus
+2, +1, whatever, right?
Like that.
Yeah, +1 or so. Because Fang's heat engager is a shoulder, that's 13 frames. Popping heat and then immediately into plus Fang shoulder. I hate the mini game when you pop heat and it's like, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to push a button? Are they going to sidestep? There's this weird, like, really quick mini game. It's kind of fun and you kind of have to think. But when I play Fang, I'll just like pop it, shoulder. And if they sidestep, they get hit. If they block it, they're -5. Like having that option is so unbelievably crazy. And like,
shoulder is launch punishable, usually shouldn't be that positive.
It's exactly, but just having I just do it. It's a free option. Because the only thing you can do is immediately press a 10, 11, or 12, not even 12, like 12, I guess, like frame option, right? But like, who has the balls to do that? Like, you have to be pretty crazy to do that. That's a big call out. And for every time you're right about that, you're going to be wrong. Because next time I'll just do sidestep 4. Like that. Fang wins the sort of the heat dash mind game in a way that is like crazy. And I didn't know how powerful that option is until I was like, I can't go back now. I can't play a character that doesn't have
it. It's a full launcher you need.
I don't think it's a full. Oh, it might be a full. I don't know the combo. I'd literally just do shoulder into shoulder. Like I'm sure there's something more optimal. I don't know it. I just do shoulder and shoulder, and now I'm taking God Supreme.
I think Fang combos are actually difficult. That's
I'm sure. It's like shoulder. I don't give a fuck.
He's a launcher. I don't remember. I don't want to say it's a launcher because I haven't played Fang in like 5 months. So
it's crazy.
I got a friend of mine broke me the home tie, so I got that to Tekken Go Omega soon. That's
it. You gotta get your sniffer. First guy I saw in the stuff. Do you remember? Oh, what's his name? What was the Dimeback? Asuka Dimeback in last chance qualifiers. I remember he was the first guy I saw take the sniffer.
I knew about the sniffer way before Kokoma brought it out.
The sniffer tech.
Told me this name, and then I saw him, and I saw this question. Like I think it was someone in BS Fighter. I was sitting down watching the stage. Yeah. Was Kokoma playing and pull out the sniffer. It's like, oh, that's the stuff. That's peppermint and eucalyptus. Basically, that's what it is.
Nah, it's like it's got a legal tech, man. It got a legal tech. It's cool shit.
No, but yeah, so they're not gonna do major changes. I hope they're gonna do these frame changes, like the shoulders, the dead fist. Like Death Fist is so stupid. That movie.
Oh man, but plus unblock Death Fist is correct. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I'm sorry. That's the one. Because the thing is, Death Fist has always been like that. Death Fist has always been obscene. Yeah, it's always been obscene. That's the one that can keep it.
At the same time, it's like it was always that move that was resetting the neutral. Like that was
yeah. Should be fair. Yes, you're right. Back when it was a what's it called? Drive Impact? Drive. Right, exactly. You block it and like they push you back. So you're right. So it was a free option, but I see what you mean. Yeah. But having that, he blocks it and then he's fucking point like in your face 50-50. Like, come on, bro.
Really, and
Yeah.
these kind of things like Blood Bomb, all these kind of things that they become just positive. This stuff, I hope, and I think there is a good chance this stuff goes into the patches. Some of this.
Yeah. No, I have faith in the balance. I have faith in the balance team over time. I have faith in them.
Yeah, definitely. The game is gonna get to his point where he's got the difference is that they need to start to take these turns now, because it's not like it happened with Tekken 7 where the arcade was what it was, then they released one of Tekken 7 which was what it was, and then they go season 2, because that's the amount of time they have, and people wasn't that much critical, because first they were like community were smaller and less loud at the time, and second they started to trim down the mistakes when no one was playing the game, because it was on arcades, so people was not playing, so at the end of the day you had way more time to fix things. Now they don't get the grace time, because now if they don't start to aim correctly in season 2 since the beginning,
they'll die.
It's like I don't see it dying, but it's like I see it going on a 3,000 player base.
I was gonna say dying is too, but like Tekken has historically been niche, and it has become mainstream major, and if they are not careful, it will go back to being the niche. They will lose all of the goodwill and momentum that they built over 7 years with Tekken 7. That is absolutely possible.
Yeah, because if it goes well, I see easily on a 12,000 player base.
Yeah,
easy.
And that's before we even get into Virtua Fighter. I'm just saying, I'm ready for Virtua Fighter to be good. I'm ready. If it's crap, it's crap. But if it comes out, it's hot. Look, I'm not too proud to jump ship. This will be a new channel. Hopkick City will become a Virtua Fighter channel if it keeps up like this. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
How do you feel to have another Bajik 1 user into Tekken 8 coming?
We don't look. We don't need another one. We already have like 7.
Look, tell me everything, but I like if they put Akira looks cool.
Give me Tifa. Just give us Tifa. It's been too long. Everyone wants Tifa. If you want Tifa for like 5 years, just give it Tifa. But here's a question. Now that we're on this, right? Because we're gonna end this about like 5 more minutes. Like, final character? Who do you want it to be? No, who do you think it is? Who do you want it to be? Final character. Who do you want it to be? No, who do you think? Actually, both. Who do you think it is? Who do you want it to be? Go.
I think is because of some of the. I mean, it's not as much reliable, but some of the other tweets he did in the past and everything. I think it might be a Virtua Fighter character. It would make sense. Okay.
Virtua Fighter, yeah.
I don't think if it's a Virtua Fighter character, I don't think it's gonna be Akira, because it's such a niche martial art that Akira does. That is already in Tekken.
Who's it gonna be? Pai?
Jackie? Might be.
Jackie. Jackie's Jeet Kune Do. It can't be.
Yeah, Jackie is martial law. So that's the point. That's the only point. It might be. What's the old man? I don't remember the name of the old man.
Oh yes, I know what you mean.
But at the same time, it needs to be someone that has the hype that everyone knows, and that's the point. Like someone that has been playing fighting games for a long time. There are not many Virtua Fighter characters that you know. So, but I see.
I think they could do Go, like the weird goth karate guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's interesting enough. I think he's iconic enough. Okay, so that's who you think it is going to be. Who do you want it to be?
What I want it to be? I want it to be. I always think about this, and it's like, who I want it to be. I want it to be someone that was badass as Negan was.
I like Negan, but I see your point. So who is badass? Who is badass?
Huh? Who is badass?
Who is badass?
I would never be Billy Butcher, but I would like to.
Never.
And it's not for how he plays. Don't get me wrong. You know for what? For like when you were playing Negan or playing against Negan, like you were beating his eyes, like oh shit! That was cool.
No, I understand. They animated him really well. Like my goodness. Yeah.
And exactly. You know, that was the thing. It's like someone that is as charismatic as Billy Butcher. I would love to have someone like him into the fighting game, and he speaks like him, and is like,
I hear that.
But I know it's not realistically. I know it's not gonna be that. Gonna be him. I'm not.
I got you.
Like alternatives, these ones it would be only someone from Final Fantasy that would come in again, like Tifa or Kazuko or Ryu, like Kiryu. They usually. I know it's not from Final Fantasy.
I think for me, I think it's gonna be Tifa. I'm confident it's gonna be a guest character. Like in my brain, like Tifa just seems like they already have a relationship with Square Enix because of Noctis. He's the one everyone's been talking about. Like these deals also take a very long time. So whatever this character is going to be someone that they probably would have been talking about for a long time, and I can imagine them talking to them Square Enix for the past 4 years about Tifa.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, because these characters have all been made. Like, they're not designing them as we speak. They've been made, right? So it's going to be my mind says Tifa. Who I want though, I want, what's his name from? I want Urian from Street Fighter. I want Urian.
Who?
I want Urian from Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, I remember the guy with the.
I want Urian
from
Street Fighter 3. I want Urian from Street Fighter. I want him to be able to create a wall that he can wall splat you mid screen. I want him to, because his whole thing is he creates like these walls, right? But I want to be able to create a wall, and then like if he just like a wall splat move, that would be solid.
That's the fact they're gonna introduce wall bounce with that.
Oh my gosh! But imagine he had a 1+2 throw that wall splatted you no matter where it was on screen. So the throw does no damage, but like it puts you against the wall, and then it obviously can break you through it, and then blah blah blah. Like that would be visually interesting. And so long as he doesn't have projectiles, it could still feel within Tekken. He's a recognizable enough character in Street Fighter that would be huge. Again, I think Urian would be great. They could do a lot of fun stuff without breaking Tekken too much. But
unique, to be honest, it would be very.
Yeah.
Who's saying that he's going to be Fuck or Josie, guys? I don't think he's going to be. He's going to be a character.
Yeah, people saying Fuck or Josie. I mean, I love Josie. It's not going to be Josie. I hate Fuck. If it's Fuck, I'm done. I'm playing.
It's going to be Fuck. Fuck is going to be.
Better not be Fuck. Stop saying it's Fuck, bro. Stop. People need to stop saying it's Fuck, bro. People need to stop saying Fuck. People need to stop saying Marduk. Don't, bro. Don't.
He is.
Don't. Y'all said it was. Y'all said Hayachi was gonna be fucking Fuck. I'm done. I'm not listening to you. Didn't New Salt Slayer say it was gonna be fucking? It was confirmed by the data. It was gonna be Marduk and Fuck. What happened to that? What happened?
It's just because there are the fighters the actors that animates the guys, the fighters that animates the fucking Ramen Tekken 7. He's in the credit screen of Tekken 8. That's why.
Sure, he'd be a new character.
It's like yes, I see fucking Ram returning because. At the end of the day, he sold. And as a design, I honestly think it was cool on some things.
You're crazy.
Not gameplay design.
All design here was trash. Voice, trash. Aesthetics, trash. Gameplay, trash.
The feeling of the back forward 4 with the thunder sound, and that was cool. That had all.
Fine, then give Josie that sound effect. It's fine.
Just
give Josie the sound. It's fine. Just give Josie the sound effect.
100 kilos different or something.
It's fine. But anyway, we're going around in circles. We've hit the 3-hour mark. We said we'd stop it. But yeah, thank you, Jan. Thank you so much. Again, those of you watching on YouTube, please look up the Jan immediately.
Let me do this so you can see actually our names as well. Boom.
There you go. Yes, professional dance. But yeah, definitely look up the Jan. It's been great. We'll probably do this. I don't think we have like a set schedule, but we'll try and do this on a semi-regular basis.
This is gonna happen more often.
Just to talk things up. And thank you so much. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, be sure to come over on Twitch. Follow us on Twitch if you're there. If you're on Twitch, come follow us on YouTube. But until next time, everyone. Peace out, y'all.
Just be aware, guys. The live is gonna be done on my channel. Like the structure is gonna be like this. That the live stays here. Like we do the live here, and then the video ends up on my channel. And we're gonna do some more editing maybe, or cut some pieces that we worked. So if some of you join a bit later and wants to see the previous part, just come to the channel. That's the channel. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Chad, for having me. I think it's been very fun.
No worries. Until next time, everyone. Peace.
Good night.
All right. Okay, I've stopped streaming. Good stuff, man. I knew we'd go on. I can't believe 3 hours. I was like, oh, jeez, already.